They're just naturally big. Avish in again, bowls, a slower one, which he jabs down onto his foot, and then the ball runs out towards extra cover. Stoinis does the fielding, and there is no run. Of course, the bowling strategic timeout can be taken between overs 6 and 9 once the power play is over. We'll
the bollock break,
that. The bollock break, or the Woodstock cricket equipment break.
Absolutely.
Please, if you do need equipment, Woodstock are brilliant. I mean, they've won all sorts of awards recently. The Cricketer named them Bat of the Year. So if you're looking for a new timber, go and have a look on our website. Click the flashing link to Woodstock. Beautifully carved shot by Maxwell, giving himself a little bit of room. But once again, he's hit the fielder, and he's very, very annoyed. And there is no run. Yeah, Woodstock on the website. Go to GorillaCricket.com. You'll see the flashing light saying Woodstock 15% off if you use the code GC Radio. That means you get 15% off.
Messi Jess tells us news from Oz. The Australian cricketers leave the IPL. They won't return to Oz until at least the 16th of May. They'll need to find another yellow brick road, he said. Another yellow brick road.
Avish in. Oh my goodness me, he smashed that. But I think he hit the non-striker, and that has slowed the ball down. And Axel Patel at mid-on has been able to field it. They've only got a single for a shot that probably deserved 4. Absolutely hammered that.
No, I think he got toe end, Hendo.
Was it the toe end? I thought maybe he hit the non-striker, but you're right. He's looking at the bottom of his bat. Have another look at this.
It completely mistimed it.
Ooh, yes. I mean, actually, if it had gone with the amount of effort he put in, that would have been disappearing down Ahmedabad High Street as we speak, if there is such a thing.
Well, yeah.
One ball to go then in the power play, 36 for 2, so a run rate of just over 6. They did get a single, so it's Patadar to face. Avish is in again, and he edges this deliberately, but the short third man is in. He doesn't get it either side of him. It's more or less straight 2, and that is the end of the over. 6 overs bowled. RCBs are 36 for 2 after being put into bat.
Are we due a change yet?
No, one more over.
One more over.
One more over.
Are we struggling on the tweets front? Where are you all?
No, yeah, well, they're warming themselves up.
Okay, all right. Yes, well, do tell everybody that we're on, if they want to listen. Maybe a lot of people who don't realise we're doing so much of the IPL. Some of our people who prefer the longer formats of the game.
I was thinking this morning that, with the IPL, you sort of go, oh, the IPL's on, blah, 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 and people have their opinions on it, whatever. When it's not on, I quite miss it.
Oh, you mean once you get into it? You mean if there isn't, you think to yourself, "Oh, there's not." And what game is there today? Oh, there isn't a game. No, there must be a game.
Yeah, I kind of miss it.
Well, I mean, it would be a very barren period if there was to be no more cricket on Guerrilla Cricket until the next Test matches when England play New Zealand at the beginning of June. That's a long period to go, isn't it? Especially when you can't actually go to any county cricket as well.
Well, we have a new bowler, and he sounds a bit like this. Talk over the top of it.
No, that's all right. Sing away.
With Harbhajan and Kumble about, a new leg spinner emerged. Amit Mishra, and his monographs. 'Cause if there's one thing that she don't need, it's an unemployed mouth to feed. Amit Mishra.
I love that jingle.
It's great, isn't it? He's replacing Ishant Sharma, who took the wicket of Padikkal in the last over. Now, Mishra is on 165 IPL wickets. He needs 6 more to become the all-time leading wicket taker in the IPL. He would go past Lasith Malinga. I don't think he's going to get all 6 today, but he's going to get another ball, seemingly. I don't know whether it's because that one has got too wet with the dew.
Someone breathed on it.
Or has it been given back to him? It's just been rubbed, I think, by the umpire and given back to him, to be honest.
On Facebook, Angela Copeland and Anne Lawson have joined us.
Hello there.
Very nice to have you alongside us, or not alongside, or in front of us, or behind us, wherever you are. No, it's always good to have people on our own Facebook page. We do like it when you join us there or on YouTube. Mishra then is in to Maxwell. It's right up in the block hole. He digs it out and forces it up to long off. He'll run through for the single and move to 7 in the process.
On YouTube, we're joined by Prithi Viraj Selvarajay, who says, "Hey,
hello, hey."
I really screwed your name up there. I'm really sorry.
And Khan Tanvir. It sounds like a love heart with a cross in it.
I've done that one bit.
Oh, okay.
Forced through the offside by Patidar. I think it'll just be a single. That Prithvi Shaw, I think, at deep cover, doing the fielding. 38-4-2. We're into the 7th over. We'll have a change at the end of the over. The Bear will take over in the ball-by-ball chair, and we'll be welcoming Chris Paul for his Gorilla debut. Back goes Maxwell, cuts this hard along the ground, out once more to Prithvi Shaw. And they take another single, 39-4-2.
Mezzi's delighted to see the Bear's beard has developed from the scruffy drunk stage to the mildly distinguished stage.
Absolutely.
Can't wait for the sage elder stage.
Well, it comes and goes, you know.
Played by Patidar up to mid-off, and they run through the single. I think that was actually Maxwell, wasn't it? He goes to 7 singles. Every ball so far in this over takes RCB to 40-2. They've lost Kohli and Padikkal, if you are just joining us. And now he's in again, throws it up outside the off stump, gets the treatment from Maxwell. Has it gone the full distance? It certainly has. It's disappeared into the black of the sight screen, and it's 6 runs.
First of the day.
It is indeed. So frustrating for a bowler. You bowl really nicely, 4 balls, they've just taken the singles, you're thinking about getting away with a sort of 6 or 7 off the over, and then some great big muscular bastard comes and smashes you for 6.
Well, it was a big loopy short one with a lot of
Mishra in again, bowls, he goes back to this one, cuts it out to Prithvi Shaw. Once more it's just the single, so just that 6 destroying that over from Mishra. None for 11 of his first over. 7 overs bowled, 47-2. It's time for the Bear, and it's time for Chris Paul. Hello.
All right, Rob, see you two later. We're going to be joined by Chris and Rob. How are you, mate?
I'm very well.
Oh, we changed room today. You've got a window behind you today.
I have. I'm the only one in the house today, so I can move room.
Ooh, very nice. Nice.
Having had Wi-Fi issues last time, I've plonked myself next to the router.
Ah, that's sensible. Well, we're joined by Chris, who looks like he's joining us from an interview. All right, Chris.
Yeah, it does feel that way somewhat. You know, if you get beginner's nerves, you know, debutante fear and all that.
No, don't fear. There's nothing to fear on this show. Bit of a slow start, really. I mean, they went off pretty well for the first 2 or 3 overs, and then it all seemed to gum up a bit with the loss of those 2 wickets.
I think Ishant Sharma has been the difference between the 2 teams, really, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's just like Khan's gone tidy. Rabada's been disappointing in keeping with the rest of his tournament.
Well,
and Watch coming back into the team, he's smashed it.
Yeah, well, Maxi will hopefully, and they've got ABD to come, I suppose, as well. First ball of Axar Patel is driven out to cover by Maxi, and there's no run. Goes back on his stumps for the second ball and just works it out into a vacant mid-wicket. They're going to come back for 2. That's really good running. Could have been a bit tricky, but it wasn't. We should have a jingle for the bowler. He sounds a bit like this.
The stroke plays diverse, and as sweet as a slice of Battenberg. Extra.
That one goes straight on and hits his pads. Maxi, it's a half a pill by Axar Patel, but it's going down the leg side and is given not out. No reviews used that. RCB at 49-2 in the 8th over. Axar Patel around the wicket, tosses that one up and gets hammered. I'm not sure he's got all of that, but he's got enough of it. It didn't look like he hit that particularly perfectly, but it's gone all the way over deep long on for another one of these. And you can't really let Maxi get away because, well, that's trouble that way, Lions, especially with ABD behind them.
He's chipped that 88 metres.
I know.
So it's a remarkable shot.
It was, wasn't it? I mean, it didn't seem to come off the bat particularly well. Axar Patel, flat. Ooh, leading edge, bat past the bowler, who possibly could have been a catch, but it dribbled through his legs and they'll get a single, which will bring Patidar onto strike. Had a great game so far, Axar Patel. Do you think he should have caught that one earlier?
It's tricky, I think. It was swirling around. I think there was a gust of wind. And I think the tendency when the ball's coming at you like that is to run too far forward.
Yeah.
They're trickier than they look. But yeah, he should have caught it as a professional cricketer rather than a club cricketer, I guess.
Clipped out to leg side by Patadar, getting himself a single out to deep mid-wicket, and will keep the strike. I thought he kind of... It looked like he got himself in position and then suddenly was out of position, as you say. It sort of dropped. It looked like he turned on the spot and lost his bearings a little bit, and then it got away from him.
I'll do some tweets. Armchair Cricket Podcast talking about the impact Ishant Sharma's had since coming into the Delhi Capital side. Disappointing to not see Nortje and Rabada together. Brian Barish saying rubbing balls klaxon. That was a couple of overs ago. Ravi Nair, Ahmedabad has over 5.5 million inhabitants. It does not have a high street as such.
Well, that's pretty shocking. No high street for 5.5 million people. Dear, oh dear. Where are you going to put your John Lewis? Patadar is going to face up to Amit Mishra, who got hit for 11 off his first over. First ball he swings at, bit of an under edge, pulled out to cow corner, wide long on, where it's fielded by Axar Patel, and it will be a single.
Josie Oak has joined us. Meant to be a holiday here in South Africa, but I'm sober and trying to edit some gibberish into a technical paper.
Well, why don't you have a couple of jars of whatever, and that'll help you edit it, I'm sure, Jersey Oak. That's played down to long on by Maxwell, and they'll get back for 2. That's good running. It's played down to long on. Not particularly well timed again. Big swing, a bit of a ding, but not much.
Josie Oak goes on to say it's a review paper, so they plagiarise statements from other papers which are gibberish. Turnitin will be used. Hendo would have a stroke.
Hoyt, and he's out. Maxwell has gone. Caught by the pigster down at long on. He flung it up there, did Amit Mishra, and he once more, Maxwell went to try and bang it out of the park and mistimed it a little bit toe end. Quite well hit, but not well enough, really, and it was caught about 5 yards in the boundary. Hands up Aussie style by the ex-Australian captain, the Pigster Smith, and another wicket falls.
On your right, mate.
And we are going to...
Well, I'm pretty disappointed with that. He was just getting into his stride, Glenn Maxwell, there, and then contrived to pick out the man on the long-on boundary. Just couldn't have hit it straight. If he tried, really, could he?
Well, no, he couldn't. I mean, this is the problem with this type of game, though, isn't it? You've just got to keep going and going and going. Andy Ward will tell you that. That's his theory. You just got to keep trying to hit the ball. Doesn't look the easiest pitch, I have to say. It looks quite slow, and timing the ball, especially off the slower deliveries, seems quite hard. Over a runner ball, it's all right. And I guess ABD comes out to bat. But we're going to have a Woodstock timeout now, which means you should all go and look at Woodstock stuff. They do everything, bats, pads, the lot. And as Hendo said, they've got the guy who used to be the Newbury master batsman makes their bats, handmade. You can order them, a hell of a lot cheaper than your Grey Nichols and your big boy bats, and probably better. So go and check them out. Cricket season starting. In fact, I was driving around. I went down to Kent the other day. I went to Chartwell. Took the kids to Chartwell. They just moaned all the way around because they're now teenagers and they really didn't want to go for a walk in the country. But I made them go. And we passed a couple of games of cricket still going on. And I thought, oh, it's cricket season. And I looked and thought, Jesus Christ, they're starting the club games in the middle of April. And I don't know if I have a full season of actual league cricket going on this year again. I haven't really checked it out as I'm a retired man from the game myself. But yeah, the cricket season has started, so if you want kit, go to Woodstock. Use the code GC Radio and you get a nice 15% discount.
The Pembrokeshire League starts on May the 1st.
Do you play, Chris?
I don't so much play as make up the numbers, I think would be a fair assessment. I'm there to give a couple of overs of left arm dob if nothing else is working.
That's fair enough. Batting position?
8.
That's all right.
Not a good number 8 either. Not a Gary Naylor number 8. An unreliable number 8.
Top score? Top score
27.
27. That's all right. That's number 8. And highest, best bowling figures. We have to do this to everyone.
Best bowling figures, 3 for 5.
Well, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Are you playing this year, Rob? Do you play?
A bit, not a huge amount. It's quite difficult with work to sort of commit to weekends, especially this early in the season. I'd say my club started on Sunday in a friendly, got beat, but by a team that's a division above us, so it wasn't a disastrous result. But I think there are a few cold hands out there in the field by 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock on Sunday.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is the thing. The weather has been absolutely gorgeous, but bloody freezing recently.
Yeah, it's not been warm.
No, it hasn't been warm. Well, we're back at the action. Patidar is going to face up to Amit Mishra. Of course, he's still in the middle of an over. Works that into the leg side, out through a vacant mid-wicket. They're going to try for 2, but they decide not to take it as Mishra has to chase after the ball himself. Maxi got 25 off 20. And, of course, the next man in is this man. No, wrong team. This man. There's a googly from Amit Mishra, turning down the leg side. He misses it, hits into his pad, dribbles out on the leg side, and there's no run. Of course, Amit Mishra now only needs 5 more runs to overhaul Lasith Malinga as the all-time highest wicket taker in the IPL. AV knocks that next ball up to long off, and will get himself off the mark with a single. And retain the strike as that's going to go over. Go for it.
You've got a couple of YouTube comments. Chevron Phillips says hello from the Caribbean and asks,
hello Caribbean,
which player has shown the most form this IPL so far?
It's tricky. From the games I've seen, it depends. It's up and down, isn't it? One player can show great form in one game. Like Padikkal got a ton in 52 balls the last time I was here, and today he got 17 off 14. Did look, he was a bit lucky to get to 17. You could say he could have chopped one on. Nearly got caught. Bowling wise, who I've seen who's bowled particularly well, I can't even think. Games go so quick. On the back foot, De Villiers plays that out to Shimron Hetmyer even at cover, and they get through for a single, bringing Patidar back on strike.
Well, the last game I did was that game where Andre Russell took about 5 wickets in, was it 2 overs or something?
Yeah, well, there you go. That's played down to long on for a single where Piggy Smith is fielding. I'd like to see Shimron Hetmyer. He finished the game off pretty well the other day that I was in. Came in, it could have been quite a tricky finish, but did it pretty well. I quite like Shimron Hetmyer. That was defended back down the track and there's no run. I'd like to see him get a big score one of these days. AB de Villiers, there's 4,980 IPL runs, so it's 20 more to get to the 5,000. Flat and darted in towards the pads from Axar Patel, and de Villiers just pumps it up to long on once more, gets himself a single. A lot of singles and not many boundaries since Maxwell has gone.
Absolutely. He's just finding his groove, isn't he? And the problem I have here is that I'm broadcasting from Wales and the internet's 20 seconds slower to reach here.
Right.
So
driven
I'm just seeing the ball that you just commented on.
Driven up to mid-off and there's no run. You can watch it on the. Well, this is it. What are you actually? Are you on an iPad? Are you doing this on?
I'm doing it on an Xbox.
You're doing it on an
TV.
Xbox. Wow. There we go. I think that's a first. Cut nicely by de Villiers. Beats the man at cover. There is a man out in the deep, though, and he will field it. It's Stoinis out there. And I'll get back for 2 to end the 10th over. So you're doing it on an Xbox. So where's the zoom on?
Zoom's on my mobile.
Ah, there you go. See, because if you had a Zoom, have you not got a laptop? Because if you do it on a laptop, you'll be able to see the game exactly the same time as we're seeing it on the Zoom, you see.
Ah, right, okay, I could try that. I've got my laptop.
Let's carry on like this. At a break, maybe try it at a break. Yes, exactly. Next change. You just have to log back into the Zoom from a different from the laptop, and then you will see the game as we're seeing it on the Zoom.
Oh, hang on.
Because you're...
Yeah, I can do that now. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I've got it. It's a bit of a stuttery feed, but
it's not. It depends on your internet connection at your end, but it's so that everyone can see it at the same time. Because obviously Sky Go, as you say, is a long way behind. Patidar, first ball of the next over. Amit Mishra is into his third. It keeps a little bit low. It's a googly, but he's on the back foot. And it did keep very low, I thought. Pushes it up to long off. He'll get himself a single. On strike.
You're officially part of the team now, Chris, because you've been welcomed to the madhouse by Messi Jez. That's the equivalent of being awarded your Gorilla Cricket cap.
Absolutely.
That is. That's earning your wings, isn't it?
Yeah. Driven at by de Villiers. Stopped on a little bit. It's outside edgy. Goes down to backward point, and on the circle there stops it. It'll get a single. A lot of singles, not many boundaries in the last 2 or 3 overs. I don't know what a good score would be here. It'd be interesting to see what the bookies have as the margin. Amit Mishra throws that one up. Ooh. And Patidar's got hold of that one. That's gone all the way over long on into the stands, and it's the first one of these for a while. That was a good shot. It was a bit too full by Amit Mishra. It didn't turn much, and Patidar was able to pick it up and deposit it. He moves on to 15. Next ball, he goes back. See, if it pitches a little short, it just seems to die, doesn't it, before it gets to the batsman? It's probably better off doing that. Patidar is only able to knock it back to long on. It's not a run. It's very slow off the pitch. As long as you can keep an eye on the ball, you shouldn't really get yourself out unless you're trying something, trying to overhit it. But it doesn't allow you to put a lot of pace in it. Thrown up wide by Amit Mishra, driven hard by A.B. de Villiers down to long off. It's another single. Shikhar is down there. Patidar is 16.
I would think you're looking at sort of 160, 165 could be a very difficult run chase on this.
It could be. Patidar faces up, gets in line behind that, and just packs it up to long on once more. Steve Smith fields, ends the over. He will retain a strike. He's on 17. And have we got any tweets, Rob?
We've got a few from Armchair Cricket Podcast, who is telling us that Mishra is just 3 wickets away from becoming the highest wicket taker in all of the IPL. Messi Jess says it's a pity that Mogg isn't around to give Chris the Bradman test. I won't read out Jeff Perkins' tweet, but it has been noted. Leah says seeing Maxi hit sixes is almost as good as seeing him take the piss out of KP, and has put a YouTube link to Glenn Maxwell impersonating Kevin Peterson for Australian TV a couple of years ago. And Muttley tells us that Argos has just arrived. The driver looked like Hugh Dennis.
Hugh Dennis.
Not the week.
Okay. Right.
Did you ever watch Outnumbered?
Yes.
Yeah.
The dad in that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. That's right, yeah.
He owes a huge debt of gratitude to Jasper Carrott, Hugh Dennis, doesn't he? He kind of started his television career, as far as I remember, back in the 80s.
Well, yeah. Rabada is back into the attack. First ball is quick and to the pads of Patidar, who plays it out to long leg. And I've lost another bet, I think, as that gets bat for 2. This is a really annoying day for me.
I think Rabada's really got something to prove here. He hasn't had a great tournament. His first over, he was rapidly taken out of the attack. He was just too far down the leg, just couldn't find his line. And he seems to be just doing more of the same there again.
Well, you
really,
do.
I think he's such a good bowler. I don't know what's up with him.
Well, you do wonder, with everything that's going on, Rabada in. Patadar works that out to mid-wicket. There's a man there. It's a direct hit. Good throw, but I think it was a bit slow getting rid of the ball, and I think Patadar is in. It should be a single moving on to 20 or 14. They're going to go upstairs for a Woodstock review. Was it Shikhar Dhawan now?
Yeah, I think he's in. But
I think he was in. I think it took too long to get rid of the ball.
There.
Yeah, he was
well in.
He was virtually in line with the stumps. So, yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say. My brain's gone blank.
It was about Rabada.
Oh yeah, no,
with everything going on.
Well, with everything going wrong, and with the state of affairs in India, as that's driven up to mid-off and there's no run. I mean, as much as everyone says that the IPL should go, the Indians. I mean, there's a lot of back and forth on Twitter apparently between Indians going, well, it should be on, and others going, well, look at the state of things, it should be off. And you wonder whether that gets in the players' head. They can't ignore it. They're in this bubble. There's all this crap going on, and in the back of their minds, are they thinking, well, this isn't going to go on much longer? Some of them. And then they're thinking,
I would hate to be there myself.
Yeah.
You can't even begin to think.
Well, this is it. What's right and wrong? I mean, it does seem a bit ostentatious to actually just carry on playing it in such a case. Beautifully driven by de Villiers. That's gone out past the man at mid-off, and there's no one in the deep. It races away to the boundary. 4 runs. Once you kind of get into that mindset, it's probably quite difficult to get out of it.
I think also it's pretty grim there if you could think about it. The first few games of the tournament played in front of huge crowds, and the death rate now as it is, and it just
Rabada in, that was quick, and the Villiers could just tip it out to Shikhar Dhawan, who's at mid-wicket. I'll get through for the single. 1 ball left in the 12th over. That's 23 tomorrow. It'll be the CSK versus the Hyderabad Sunrisers Hyderabad. David Warner, he's got that horrible fucking tash has come back.
That tash is disgusting. It really is in vogue with Australian players.
It is. It is also with the Kiwis too, I think. I don't know what it is.
Moustache, or they genuinely think it's fashionable.
Oh, I didn't see what happened there, but it went up aerial and dropped short. Patadar, I think, got the shoulder of the bat, and it just went aerial out towards point. Steve Smith was running in. There we go. Here's a replay. It was short. He was trying to turn it into the leg side, got a big leading edge, ballooned up in the air. Steve Smith had to come in from the edge of the 30-yard circle, dropped just a couple of strips across and didn't carry. Rabada just winces, has a wry smile to himself, and that ends.
First time he's played it line all game, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. And the show moves on. 87 for 3. De Villiers 12 off 11. Patadar is 20 off 16.
For wrong on our discussion of top performers so far, Harshal Patel leads the purple cap with 15 wickets, but bowled the over from hell on Sunday, going for 37 runs from Jadeja. Shikhar Dhawan leads the orange cap on 259 runs. He's probably been the most consistent.
There you go. Someone told you the answer. Driven back to the bowler by de Villiers, and there is no run.
That Jadeja over reminded me, I saw a game where an over went for 38 a few years ago.
Wow. Clipped into the leg side by de Villiers, nearly splits the fielders out in the deep. It's Stoinis who seems to maybe turn his ankle, tripped over a little bit. No, fortunately he's okay. Throws it back in, but they'll get back for 2. I mean, de Villiers could go crazy from here and they could still get 200. Or de Villiers could get out and they could end up on 150.
While there is AB, there is hope.
Well, indeed. He comes down the track, doesn't quite get to the pitch of it, and just drives it up to long off, gets a single. I think it's Rabada down there.
He's almost got time to play himself in as well, which is sort of really what he's doing.
Well, yeah. I mean, he is dangerous. I mean, I was watching. He scored an extraordinary amount of runs at the end of the game the other day. They got like 60 off the last 4 overs. I think a couple of Sundays ago, right at the beginning of the tournament, knocks that one down to long on, gets himself a single to Patadar. De Villiers back on strike.
The Jersey Jingler says, a commentator on debut. What did he have to go through? Polishing Knackle's stats machine, servicing the Bears' vapes?
No, it doesn't have to do anything. We're a nice lot. That's carved out, cut very straight out to extra cover to the boundary. They'll get back for 2. De Villiers remains on strike, 17 of 15. It's all quite settled at the moment. 93 for 3 in the 13th over. On the back foot again, forces it up once more to long off. It isn't Rabada down there. It is Shikadawan down there. And it'll be a single to end the over. De Villiers will retain the strike, 18 of 16, 21 of 7. Patadar, 94 for 3 after 13. Any more tweets?
We've got Stephen is with us on YouTube from the Netherlands. The Jersey Jingler goes on to say maybe he was forced to listen to a lecture from Gary Naylor, Clockwork Orange style. That would be bordering on cruelty, I think.
That definitely would be cruelty.
Diana Patterson, I think Pat Cummins deserves applause for donating money to the India COVID campaign and encouraging other cricketers to do so, especially as they cannot return to Australia at least.
Well,
yes,
that's
I agree
true.
with that.
Well, this is it. They kind of avoided it, isn't they, in the commentary for quite a while in this IPL, but now you notice they've got things about keeping masks on and remembering to wash your hands and stuff.
Yeah, they were banging on about. They were going on about it yesterday for a lot of the game. Actually, it was the first time I'd really noticed it. You never sort of saw that when, and obviously the situation is a lot worse, but you never saw that sort of with sort of the sports coverage here as much.
No. Well, we were kind of lucky by the time we got to play cricket last year, weren't we? That's worked into the leg side. Ishant's back into the attack, and De Villiers will get himself a single. I mean, by the time we got round to playing, I mean, this is the thing, it dies in the, well, it seemed to, especially here, die in the summer, didn't it? So we were all ready for it by the time it came out, and whilst everyone talked about it, everything was on the down slope. Whereas obviously it's actually going crazy over there. De Villiers is not going to face the next ball, but we're watching him, we're looking at his stats. So he's one more run to get to 5,000, I think, because he needed 20 not that long ago. Down the track comes Patadar, plays it up to long on. Steve Smith is down there. It'll be just the one. He moves on to 21. This is the 14th over, so at the end of this over we're having a change. I'm off for the rest of the innings.
I think the game's just well poised at the moment, isn't it, really? It's in 2020 it can shift so quickly and it could go either way.
Well,
if he stays in.
Absolutely. I mean, that's it. If De Villiers stays in, exactly that, they could get high 180s, 200 from here. Equally, it could all quickly unravel and end up with 150. It'd be interesting. In comes Ishant Sharma, driven out by De Villiers, straight to Hetmeyer, who's at cover. And there is no run, 136 Ks. So what is the run rate? 6, 7, 7s is 91. So it's about 8 and over. Oh no, it's 7.11.
It's one of those it's fine run rates.
Yes.
They're doing fine.
As long as you...
a couple of quick wickets now in their pockets.
Exactly. As long as you kick on in the last 4 overs and someone's there to do it, you can get yourself a decent score. Projected score is only 142. I'd expect them to get nearer. 6 overs left after this? I'd be looking at 160. Possibly a little bit more. Ishant Sharma seemed to cut his fingers across that. It didn't come on to A.B. De Villiers, who'd gone down the track trying to smash it over the top. Thickish outside half of the bat goes out to the man on the cover boundary. He gets his 20 runs, and that should bring up his 5,000th IPL run. He just ran his fingers out the back of the hand, and Ishant Sharma took all the pace off it.
He's bowled well, Sharma.
He has bowled well. The first over it went for a couple of 4s when Virat Kohli looked in touch at the beginning. But since then, he has bowled well. 2 balls left in his last over. Short pull. That's a good shot. by Patadar, who I hadn't seen much of, but he's looked all right. He knows he's not faced a huge amount of balls. He's only faced 19, but he's got 28 off them, and it's the first 6 for quite a while. It was angled in at his chest high, but leg sidey. He just got inside it and helped it around over long leg. Nice shot. Short boundaries here. And that should bring up the 100 for them as well, shouldn't it? Or was that 99?
No, it's 103.
Yep. With 6 overs to finish the innings off. 2 set batsmen. Could be quite interesting. At 12 runs on over, we'll get to 177. 10 will get to 165. Patadar comes down the track at Ishant. Plays it across the line out to Shikhar Dhawan. He has to come around from deep mid wicket to more cow corner, and they'll get back for 2. That's the end of my spell. 105 for 4. Rob, you're taking over ball by ball. Nestlers is coming back in to join you all, and I shall see you the other side of the mid-innings break.
Thank you, Bear.
That's okay.
Nestlers will be joining us in a moment.
So am I staying for a while?
Well,
you stay with us.
You stay with us.
Okay, fantastic.
You're on for the next. I'm going to stay with you until Nestlers reappears, because he seems to have disappeared off the Zoom. So I'll just carry on with you. You take over the ball by ball, though.
Well, as the Bear was saying, and this game is rather well poised, I feel, at the moment. At 105 for 3, 6 overs to go. 45 is this partnership, so, and in 33 balls, they're going along at a decent rate. And it's going to be Axar Patel bowls to De Villiers, who drives down the ground, and they will pick up 1 for that. De Villiers goes to 21, 106 for 3. I reckon 165 is probably where they'll be aiming. Anything else be a bit of a bonus, I think.
Yeah, anything north of 150 is okay. I would have said 3 or 4 overs ago, but if they don't get to at least 160 now, it's going to be very disappointing.
The latest one was just chipped down the ground from Patar, and Smith did the fielding. They take a single.
Here comes Nestlers. I'm just going to admit him.
Axar bowls down the ground, smashed by De Villiers. He's got hold of that one. It's gone straight into the side screen. It's yet another straight 6. We've seen quite a lot of those in this innings, and De Villiers is just beginning to tick now. And Ricky Ponting, the Delhi Capitals coach, I think looked a bit worried in that shot we've just seen of him in the dugout.
One talk over the line, sweet Jesus, one talk over the line.
And here is Nestlers. And as we mentioned in the previous over, AB de Villiers now up to 5,005 IPL runs. So he's brought it up with a 6. So that was a nice way to bring it up. And here, the Nestle boy is here. It's Farong's tweet, by the way, replying to messages. Nestlers. That's where I got up to.
Hang on a sec.
I've just managed to find the tweets in case you didn't show up.
I'm here.
Patel, while he's caught, Smith takes a running catch. Axar Patel picks up a wicket in his final over. It wasn't the best ball Axar's bowled this evening, and the batsman's managed to pick out Steve Smith, who's actually taken quite a good catch there on the run, and that's a good time for the Delhi Capitals to break this partnership. They were just beginning to go towards the end of this innings, but it's been broken now, and it's 114 for 4, and he's a bit disappointed with himself there, I think.
Who was the next tweet?
Farong.
Okay.
Go OUT the window, go OUT the window, go OUT the window, 'cause OUT spells out.
It was a good innings that from Patadar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He didn't set the world on fire, but he was going steady.
Yeah, 31 off 22 balls he made. Washington Sundar is going to replace him at the crease, and that's the second catch, I believe, for Steve Smith of the innings. I think he got one earlier. I've managed to shut down my scorecard, which is always Always handy. Do you want to rattle off some Nestler's tweets?
You sure? Farong says that Abu Dhabi with the crashed UFO stand is probably more visually exciting. Sharjah, well, I played on bigger grounds in under 14s. As for experiment value, 50-50 at this stage. Jeff Perkins says...
That's on the debate of UAE against India.
You don't see common link between moustaches, Kiwis and Aussies. It would seem this must be what most effectively filters out those pesky coronaviruses.
Maybe it is. Washington Sundar's off the mark with a whip through the leg side for a single. That's the end of the over. It's also the end of Aksar Patel. He finishes 4 overs, 1 for 33. And it's 115 for 4 with 5 to go.
Jersey Oak says the international IPL players have paid enough to pay their own way home and lump any quarantine requirements. They aren't refugees. Yeah, but I don't think the Aussie government are allowing them. That's the thing. Brian says Chris is definitely a guerrilla cricket newbie. He's interrupting banter and GC commentator pattern announcements with actual talk of the match. Stop that. It's silly. Ravi Nair says, interesting, there's been no anti-mask, anti-lockdown or anti-vax movement in India that I know of. No protests at all about safety measures. Unlike London. Fucking idiots. Stephen Kelk's joined us from the Netherlands. And Ninand Adharaju said, don't know if this is the place, but just found out RCB is bringing in Scott Kugelingen? Pretty disappointing. What can cricket audience do, if anything?
Kugelheim.
Who is Kugelheim? Who is Scott? What's the problem with him?
Rabada starts a new over and driven by Washington Sundar, and there's no run.
I get the feeling he's a bit of a dick then.
I don't know him actually.
Yeah, it's a name that has passed me by as well, I'm afraid.
Well, Farong tells us that Brett Lee has donated 41 lakhs today towards oxygen supplies. Well done. I heard that 60 tonnes of it has been sent by the UK, which has landed in India today. I don't quite know what tonnes in oxygen means, but...
Washington Sundar has just played the next delivery from Rabada down to third man, and they get through for a single.
Obviously, I know what a ton is, but I assume it's quite a lot of oxygen.
Probably not the easiest thing to transport.
No.
Well, you feel this partnership for the RCB will go an awfully long way to determining what sort of chase the Delhi Capitals will have. They've obviously won plenty of games chasing in this tournament so far. Delhi, as de Villiers picks the gap perfectly. That's a really good shot. There were two men, sort of one at a wide third man and one at a point, and he's managed to pick the gap perfectly between the two, and it's gone through for a boundary. Full deliveries.
I think that sums it up well, really. It's Washington Sundar, very clever player, good batsman, very good bowler as well.
De Villiers backs away to this next delivery, and it's
apologies.
Been fielded by a diving. I'm not quite sure who that was, but it was the guy I was just referencing at sort of like a backward point, and there's no run. Is that your Pembrokeshire Wi-Fi there?
That was an incoming call. Unfortunately, I will do this off my laptop next time, if there is indeed a next time.
One cat wonder. Rabada bowls to Washington, who just drops us into the offside, and they take a single. It's been decent over for RCB. They've taken 7 from it so far, with 1 to come.
Yeah, they don't have a huge amount of batting left, do they? Really?
No.
Daniel Sams is, he's an all-rounder, but in T20 more of a nominal all-rounder, I would say.
Yes, Daniel Sams had one game in the Big Bash, I think, where he won a game coming in late on, but he's very much hit and miss as Rabada bowls, and again de Villiers tries to work this down to third man. They take a sharply taken single, and they're going to get a buzzer as well, because the throw was wayward from the guy short third man, so they've got 2 there. It was Mishra, I believe, who was doing the fielding there. That's the end of the 16th over, and we're going to get a Woodstock timeout at 124 for 4 with 4 to go.
So this fella, Scott Coolidge, you say? Coolidge?
Yes.
Had a rape allegation on him that went to trial. He was found not guilty, though. Well, if you're found not guilty, then you're not guilty.
Well, yes,
That's the way it works.
There's an almost identical case happening in rugby at the moment with Paddy Jackson, who is the London Irish fly half, and I think media outlets are finding it. They need to praise him, but they're finding it. It's difficult for them.
Mud sticks.
Yeah. So,
well, this guy apparently had 2 trials, ratings 2016 and again after a hung jury in the first trial.
Well, and securing a rape conviction is incredibly difficult.
Well, it's one person against another, isn't it?
Yeah, I err towards believe the victim in these scenarios. However, like you say, he stood trial. You can't. It's going to be a cloud hanging over him forever in that respect, isn't there?
It's the system, and if you're not found not guilty, then But it's mud sticks, and Surjit Kumar is with us on Cricket Tracker. It just says RCB, and Tanu Priya Sharma says VD.
Weren't they a Dutch football team?
It could have been.
Wouldn't you say, in terms of the money these two teams have, their popularity, the players, they're both, I think RCB have certainly achieved more than Delhi over the years throughout the franchises.
Neither of them have won it, have they?
But neither of them have won it, I don't think.
And also that they were part of the original setup, weren't they?
Yeah, well, Delhi Daredevils as they then were, but they rebranded, didn't they? Yeah. Both disappointing. I'm not sure who is the biggest disappointment, really. I'd probably err towards Delhi myself.
Well, anything with Kohli.
With the money involved in these respective franchises, if there was ever a breakaway IPL Super League, these two would be right at the forefront of it. You would have thought
it would just be them two playing together constantly
that might end up what the football one is. It'll just be Real Madrid against Barcelona in various locations around the world, I reckon.
Oh dear, that's going to come back. There's going to be something.
Well,
one day.
If I saw somebody on Twitter describe Spurs being in the Champions League in the Super League as like me walking into the Crucible and slapping 50p on the table.
The thing is, everyone keeps pointing out the league table and this, that, and the other. It's not about that. It's about how much money you've got.
Yeah. And Tottenham could sell that stadium out almost at the drop of a hat, because so many people want to go and visit it at the moment. So we're back after the timeout, as Avesh is going to start a new over with one that was down the leg side. It's been flipped to fine leg by Washington, and he'll just get a single there. Mishra does the fielding, and there's 1 run.
I mean, there's rumours going around that that the guy who owns Spotify, Daniel Ek, is looking at buying it. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, I saw that. He's got some players, ex-players on the side as well.
Yeah, Bergkamp, Vieira and Henry. I don't quite know what they're going to do.
They might still get in the team, to be honest.
The way it's going at the moment, we'd have them. But I don't know. 1 billionaire for another. I'm going to go and support Wimbledon with Hendo. I've had enough.
You're going to get a version of the Super League with the Champions League reforms anyway, as De Villiers has a big swing and a miss at that one from Avesh. You might want to take a bit of pace off that one, and it goes through to the keeper, and there's no run.
I don't see. I mean, I'm not a great fan of it because I prefer the old European Cup when it was the actual winners of each league got to play. But there's nothing really wrong with the Champions League, is there? Just let it carry on.
No, it happens in all sports where you see, cricket's bad for it as well. You find a format that works, then they go and change it. As De Villiers chips this one down the ground, and Shikhar Dhawan does the fielding, and they get a single.
Well, have you seen what they're doing in golf? They've got I think it's a $40 million pool for at the end of the season for the player that's the most successful on social media.
Really?
And like the person who is the most successful gets about $8 million, and it's
How are they
broken.
determining that? On retweet?
Fuck knows. Well, they're trying to see off this Premier League of golf that's supposed to be happening.
Played away into the offside by Washington, and Rabada does the fielding, and there's no run. I mean, that is bizarre.
Yeah, it is. Well, I'm just been reading. There was rumored to be a breakaway golf tour from the PGA and the European Tour, and they're trying to steer it off by just offering the billionaires who are already playing even more money. So I don't know.
I've got to admit, I do find golf interminably dull. I like most sports, but golf, other than maybe match play, but like the Ryder Cup, is for me just horrific. It's just boring. It's just boring rich men wandering around.
I don't agree, but each to their own.
It was a lot better to watch when there was no spectators there. There was one sport that did improve with a lack of crowd, I have to say, as this one is played away into the outfield by Washington, and they pick up another single. This has been a very tidy over from Avesh. Only 3 from it so far.
In the hole.
Yeah,
mashed potato,
mac and cheese roaring, things like that. Yeah. Just absolutely baffling. There were some people backing at the Masters when that was on a couple of weeks ago. There's a good story actually. There's a good story actually about the Masters winner who just took a standard flight back to Japan because he was so unknown. And there's a picture of him in Atlanta airport with his green jacket draped over the seat next to him. No one's bothering him. It was lovely. As De Villiers cuts, the last ball of Avesh is over to the sweep on the boundary. They get a single. It's 128 for 4 with 3 to go.
National hero in Japan and probably now a billionaire.
Do golf fans get tanked up then?
No.
You do a few jars and...
Yeah. Oh, big time, especially in the States. It's a problem. It's a problem in America. Yeah, it is, because they get totally out of hand. At the Open, they tend to do it in the beer village, and they tend to stay there, get drunk and watch it on the telly. Rather than walk, 5 miles around the course sort of thing. It's people tend to walk the course once, then go into the tented village and get pissed. But in America, there's beer everywhere, and they.
Here's Rabada. Well, his last over, he starts with a good Yorker, but it's very well played by De Villiers, who's managed to dig it out, and there was nobody in close on the leg side, so they're actually going to be able to get back for 2 here. So it's a good ball and good running as well. 2 taken.
Can you bring your cans in like you can a county game, or your bottle of wine?
No, I'm not sure.
I imagine that would be...
No, I don't think you can, actually, no. Security is pretty tight these days there. They want you to pay for their overpriced stuff they've got on site.
Rabada bowls. De Villiers plays this one down the ground. Steve Smith does the fielding, and there's 1 run. De Villiers has gone up to 40 now. Yeah, what you were saying there about the Open, that's very similar when you go to the big racing events like a Cheltenham or a Grand National. The people who watch the first race then find at the bar with the screen and stay there for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So if you actually want to see a horse, you're better to wait till later on in the day.
No, I've never been. There's a sport that I have no interest in.
Racing.
Yeah, it's just about gambling, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, completely.
Yeah, that's why it exists.
Yeah.
I'll break off.
Rabada bowls, and Washington backs away at that one, but he's able to cut it down to 3rd man, and they get 1.
I always remember that horse at the National that apparently stood on a live electrical wire that was somewhere beneath the turf because nobody could see this exposed wire that the horse trod on, and it had a heart attack.
Oh my God!
And died.
Blimey!
And it was clearly drugged for the race.
But there is a lot of that in the sport, unfortunately. As De Villiers heaves this away into the leg side, I think that's probably one of the biggest 6s we've seen so far tonight. That, as they would say in baseball, is a no-doubter. That has gone all the way. And de Villiers goes up to 46.
4-6.
Did you see what Kevin Peterson suggested about the 12?
Yes, I was reading about that just before I came on.
If you hit it 100 metres or more, it should be 12 runs, not 6. Yeah, right.
Well, yes.
They'll be adopting that one in the 100, won't they?
I was thinking that it's one of the few things the 100 hasn't come up with, and had it been shot down yet, as de Villiers plays this next one from Rabada down the ground, and they got one there. So Rabada's got one ball left. He's been a bit all over the place. There's been some decent stuff, there's been some not so good stuff, and he hasn't taken a wicket yet.
Well, the 100 hasn't taken me up on my suggestion that each innings you have fans decide whether a batsman is out or not via their remote control.
That's a good idea.
You know, I'm just fucking with them. Well, just says I'm very much in favour of tangential discussions on guerrilla cricket as long as it's not about fucking football.
This has gone straight up in the air from Washington, and Rabada is going to get a wicket with his last ball. It was banged in short. Washington got absolutely none of it, and it looped straight back to the bowler, who takes a simple caught bowled. Hard to tell whether he deserved that or not, because as I said,
You messed about, I caught you out. How's that?
yeah, as I said, he bowled some good stuff. He bowled some not so good stuff, and he's picked a wicket with his last ball. And Washington,
when he finds his line, he's such a threat, isn't he? It's just I love watching him. But
didn't quite fire today. Washington is out for 6 from 9 balls.
We've had a correction that Brett Lee actually donated 1 Bitcoin, which is very, very sort of up to date of him, worth about £40,000 apparently.
All right. The new batsman is Daniel Sams. We were debating that RCB don't have a huge amount still to come, and Sams has come in at number 7. I suspect he won't see much of the bowling if all goes to plan. Here is the 19th over then of the RCB innings, and de Villiers plays the first one back down the ground, and there is no run.
As you just said, KP would say anything to grab attention. Brilliant cricketer, shit person. And O'Neill Harris says he's the new Vaughan, isn't he, KP?
I think just looking at this innings as a whole, as we have been talking about golf for the last for these last few overs, we just haven't got going, have they? It was well set, and it's just been, de Villiers aside, even he's scoring slowly by his standards.
Well, it's all down to him now to put the foot down, isn't it, and get to over that 150.
Yeah.
Now we've got a review here.
Because he hit the ball.
I think they might be checking to see if this is a caught and bowled, but de Villiers has quite clearly played the ball into the ground. So
PTM have been on the phone.
Yeah, that seems to be a complete waste of everybody's time. As Avesh bowls to de Villiers, this has turned into the leg side, and they will get 1. It was the most bizarre review. I cannot understand how neither umpire saw that and felt the need to go upstairs.
Yeah, it's the guys at PTM getting on the phone and going, look, can you just review something? We need some more airtime.
Well, I was thinking by IPL standards, this innings has gone quite quickly. It's an hour and a half. It's almost standard T20.
I think it's been pretty solid death bowling as well, to be fair. So, again, nothing to write home about, but it's been solid.
Avesh bowls a bit wider on the crease. Sams tries to muscle this way on the offside. He doesn't get all of it, but he's got enough of it to get it into the outfield, and he'll get 2 to Shiva Dhawan, who's been very busy in the last couple of overs. So Sam's away with a couple. But I still think this is not going to be a straightforward run chase for the Delhi Capitals unless they go off to an absolute flyer.
Absolutely.
It has gripped a bit.
Yeah, I think it's as has been mentioned, it's the pace of the pitch, just a tired pitch. And You see, the match that we played here yesterday is also a low scorer. It's going to be a challenge. It's nothing straightforward, is it?
That latest one from Sam's was just squirted really into the offside. It was a really good Yorker length from Avesh, who has impressed me this evening, I have to say. Of course, the English participation, no Chris Wokes tonight for the Delhi Capitals. He's not featured in the last few games. As Avesh bowls short, De Villiers pulls us away as he found the gap. Smith is after it. Yes, he's bisected the field absolutely perfectly, and that takes De Villiers through to his half-century. 35 balls. That was his third four. He's hit a couple of sixes as well, and a vital innings. His 40th IPL 50.
Your 50 runs. Well done, well done, well done, well done. 50 runs. Your 50 runs. The job has only just begun.
And the last ball of the over just played down the ground by De Villiers for a single. So it's 148 for 5 after 19.
I think just how high the bar is set in terms of standards is that AB de Villiers can hit a 35 ball 50, and we're like, well, that wasn't that exciting.
Yes.
How times have changed.
Yes, a 35 ball 50, even when T20 first started, guaranteed you the man of the match normally. Now it's a mere footnote. I mean, he might still be man of the match today, but see. Have we got any tweets, Nationals?
Yeah, there's a couple more just about Mr. Scott, and his lawyer argued in court his accuser was very drunk, so her testimony was suspect. But if you're so drunk as to be an unreliable witness, you're certainly too drunk to consent to sex, says Leia. KP's career might have lasted longer if he'd received therapy and medication in time. He said himself, "It's not easy being me," said Rennie Keeter. Well, I think I was thinking a little bit of criticism from me on YouTube, but what I was saying was he was found not guilty. Doesn't mean he was not guilty. But the way society goes, if you're found not guilty, you're found not guilty. Because, you know.
Well, this is interesting because Marcus Stoinis is going to bowl the final over of the innings, having let me just check. Yes, not bowled at all.
The fix is in. The fix is in.
Good jingle.
And we're seeing some of the pictures from the game last night where it got ridiculously dewy in the second innings. I don't know if dewy is the correct term, but I'm going to stick with it. As Stoinis bowls, is that going to be a wide? It was left by De Villiers. Yes, it is. That was very much a loosener. I have to say, quite surprised that they've gone for him here.
Wide.
All the side wants is a Marcus Stoinis. He's the solution, and all the side wants is a Marcus Stoinis. Yeah.
Here is Stoinis to bowl to De Villiers, and this one is another wide one that's outside the off stump. De Villiers has cut this away. It will be stopped by Rabada on the boundary, but they're going to get back for 2. So there's the 150 up for RCB with 5 deliveries still to come. But it does seem that dew plays a bigger part at this venue than some of the earlier ones we've seen in the tournament so far. We saw that a bit when England played there.
Well, last night I was watching it. Yeah, it was like it was rained.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So who was it that's...
Down the ground goes De Villiers from this one from Stoinis, and I think that's gone straight into the boundary boards. I think that's going to be 6. They're going to check it, but I'm fairly confident that that's a straight 6 for AB there.
2, 4, 6.
The Bears giving it.
And we're correct too, I think. It's gone straight into the advertising sponge. So... they can have a look at another angle. Yeah, that's 6. And the umpire will now be told to signal. There he goes. So there's a wide, a couple, and a 6. So 9 off 2 legitimate deliveries from Stoinis, who bowls again, and de Villiers lets this one go outside the off stump. It's almost a hint of swing there, and the umpire is unmoved this time, and that's a dot ball.
It's a bit of a shift over this at the end.
It's not great. It's not great. And it's the old thing. If you have a big last over, the momentum, as you always hear about, particularly in this form of the game.
Well, I think this is going to be difficult to chase down.
I think so, especially if de Villiers can find the stands a couple more times, and that I think is going to be another 6. It is. It's gone straight over the RCB dugout. That was a dreadful delivery from Stoinis. Dropped it short, and de Villiers has pulled it away for the second 6 of the over.
He did. He just danced to the side, didn't he? There, and you knew as soon as he started moving, he had his eye on it, and it was going only one place.
Well, fine leg when the bowling is from this end is the shorter side tonight, and de Villiers has picked that out absolutely perfectly.
Oh yes, AB.
Oh yes, indeed. So this is the biggest over of the innings now, and there could be another 6 here for de Villiers. He's gone over the offside this time, and yes, it is. That's a third 6 in 4 balls for de Villiers, and this has really fallen apart for the Delhi Capitals in the last over. And de Villiers has gone up 73.
Remit Shah has joined us on Facebook. Hello, Remit.
I mean, that is just classified as filth from Stoinis. It really is. And that one's
it's a combination, isn't it? It's a combination of filth from Stoinis and brilliance from AB de Villiers.
Last ball is played down the ground by de Villiers. It might have been another boundary, but Stoinis managed to get a hand on it, so they're only going to get 2 as it trickled into the outfield. But 23 have come from the last over, and that has really swung this innings towards the RCB's favour, you would think. The Delhi Capitals have won plenty of games chasing this season, but I think from what we've seen of this pitch so far, 171 for 5 feels a good score.
Yeah.
It feels a damn good score.
I think it's too much.
I think you could be right. I'll just quickly run through the card before we have the break. So Cody was first out, bowled by Avesh Khan for 12. Padigal was bowled by Sharma for 17. They were in successive balls at the end of the 4th over and the start of the 5th. Maxwell made 25. He was caught by Smith off Mishra. Patidar, I thought, batted well. He got 31, was dismissed by Axar Patel. Washington Sundar didn't fire. He was caught and bowled Rabada for 6. And de Villiers finishes 75 not out from 42 balls, 3 4s and 5 6s. Pick of the bowlers was on the figures was Avesh Khan, 1 for 24, but I thought Ishant Shah bowled very nicely, 1 for 26, including a maiden. So 172 will be the Delhi Capitals' target. Are we going to have something on the bet?
Yeah, we're just we're talking to an update on what happened with the Cricket Supporters Association. We're only going to be off for about 6 minutes anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
It's a short turnaround anyway, and so it'll be 172 for Delhi to win this game.
And we'll see you shortly.
See you in a bit.
It's a pleasure to have in the house Devon Malcolm. I mean, normally you'd have to be in one of the
membership, so whether you are a county member and you're going to continue, or you were, and trying to look at that, obviously free to air and TV rights, but then also taking that one step further and trying to understand how many different kind of channels people would be prepared to pay for if you are in a position to be able to pay for stuff. And because I know there's a lot of chat about free to air or different TV rights is great, good for the game, but then it also means as a fan you might have to get more and more kind of channels, subscription channels. Ticket prices very much a focus as always, and just to see what the flavour is and what people are thinking. Scheduling, as I say, I think obviously this summer is looking quite tight, and and especially now with when fans might be allowed back in the grounds and how that might work, and so looking at all of that, obviously talking about and just getting people's experiences of that, or what their anticipation about that. And it's County Championship 2022, so what people would like to see with that, because obviously that's still up in the air. And again, with that, I've spoken to the ECB, and we're working out a way that what our fans say in this survey will work towards or be part of the kind of discussion as they're planning 2022, and just kind of the role of the fan. And we're also actually looking for we're doing a bit of work with the next test, so looking at sustainability within cricket and fan experiences within grounds, etc. So that's kind of a very broad, that's everything that we want to cover. But as I say, we're very aware that there might be something else that we're missing. And when I talk about cricket, we are talking about men and women's cricket as well. But yeah, we're very well potentially missing something, or there's and so we just want fans they can go onto the website cricketsporters.com, have your say, and then there's a blog there that kind of gives a bit more detail, and then underneath is the opportunity for people to comment, or they can email us info@cricketsporters.com and just let us know if there's something that they definitely think should be in the survey, and we'll try and incorporate as much as we can without making it the longest survey ever that nobody wants to complete by the end, and they're just ticking any old box just to get to the end of it. So that's the idea.
So can you give us those
just to see
again,
what people
those two
want?
Yep. Give us again those two ways that people can give you the information, can comment on the content of the survey to you. One was you gave a web address. Shout that out again. I'm going to ask you to do it one more time right at the end as well, but give it now again.
Perfect. So you can go on our website, so cricketsporters.com, have your say, or you can just email us at info@cricketsporters.com.
Perfect. Okay. I think at Guerrilla Cricket, one of the things we would certainly be keen to know, and I think you sort of have it in there, but often it's how the question is asked. One of the things we'd be interested in is how do you preserve the strength of our test playing capability whilst also accommodating new formats, and how do you get reassurance that you're able to do that? So it might be a slightly different phrasing for the question. I don't think it's going, we're not just going stop all new thinking, because that clearly is a negative way to go, but how do you guarantee and preserve the strength of the, let's call it the pinnacle of the game, while still allowing for experimentation and change in other formats that players play? That would be a big one for, I think I would speak for my fellow gorillas on wanting to know the answer to that question. So you'd also mentioned, let's just kind of maybe go back over them. You're looking to increase the number of female and black Middle Eastern Asian respondents, because that's clearly a key voice for you. You're looking at reassurances because of people ask you that for the revenue flow through the game, and ensure that is communicated back to cricket fans. You're continuing to push for greater cost effectiveness, and you're very keen to look at the scheduling balance of the different types of formats and activity to ensure that all cricket fans get the best experience that is going for them. Okay, now, when does the survey launch? So when do you need people to come back to you with their suggestions and ideas?
Ideally, if people can come back to us kind of by the end of I'm going to say by the fourth test, but then that could be 2 days, so let's not say that. So on day 5 of the fourth test, ideally around then. So we're planning to get the survey out in the 3rd week of March, so that just gives us a bit of time. I mean, I work with a fully ratified market researcher, puts together all the surveys and everything for us, and we use our survey tool. So we do need a bit of time to get the survey all together. But we are, it go out on the 3rd week of March, and then we'll be pushing it as far and wide as possible. But very much would love everyone or anyone to get in contact and just let us know what they would like to talk about and what they think we all should be discussing, because it's really important. The Cricket Sports Association is only here for cricket fans, to represent fans. So, this is your survey. This is not only your chance to take the survey, but help us kind of shape the survey as well.
How much do you think it... I mean, we're in an extraordinary set of circumstances at the moment. Clearly, that's one of the things that you talked about, is scheduling in the pandemic, and there's general sense that counties, ECB, everyone actually has done a pretty phenomenal job under an extraordinary set of circumstances in which we're operating. This year, of course, isn't June the 21st, the longest day, is sort of the magic day that people are kind of rather focused on. We hope against all hope that happens. But this year is still exceptional. So would it be fair to say that whilst you're covering that, it's still very much the bigger, longer term picture that is the focus for the growth of the game and the satisfaction of supporters?
I think so. I think that, as you say, I mean, from our restart survey last year, fans weren't expecting that much to happen within cricket, and when we look back and think about the amount that we had and how successful it was, just phenomenal. So, and I think, like you say, this year is going to be difficult. I don't think it's going to please every fan, how it's going to pan out, and all the scheduling. And I want people to say that and to communicate that. But absolutely, it is. We're very we have to think long term. I don't think we're going to have as much as an impact on the scheduling for this summer, maybe, but absolutely kind of looking forward, and how we can see what fans want and how the game can be prosperous. And I think that's why we're asking about fan engagement and stuff like that, because I think as lovers of the game, we have to be aware that things have changed for people, and and whether you still game, but maybe your financial situation or whatever, or you're getting used to not doing cricket or doing something else, or so that's kind of where we want to get all the different fans are feeling towards cricket, but then also what they think about what's going on this summer. And that is really important. And I think we need to tell, the stakeholders how fans are feeling about what's the plan for this summer. But then, as we say, look forward as well, and, hopefully be able to, definitely influence that as we kind of, definitely, as that kind of is planned as well. So,
all right. So give us one more time.
Midterm and
give us one more time those two ways that people can tell you their point of view about what's going to be covered. There was a email address and there was a web address for comments. Give us those two again.
I will. So it's cricketsporters.com/have your say, and it was, the email address is info@cricketsporters.com. And I would say, if you are on the Cricket Sporters website, please do sign up whilst you're there. It's completely free. It's no hassle at all, and then you'll be notified as soon as the survey is live.
Perfect. So you've actually got three things you can do. Sign up for the Cricket Supporters Association. That's dead straightforward. No pain, loads of gain.
No.
You can ensure that you go to the website, and we'll have the URL of that website on this video version of this discussion, and you can email info@cricketsportsassociation.com. So, Becky, thank you very much. We're all hugely encouraged by the work that you're doing, and let's hope we get that huge growth in audience, that in respondents, that makes that voice impossible to ignore. Thank you very much.
Exactly. That is exactly it. Thank you so much for having me. It's a real pleasure. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Revolutionary cricket commentary.
Ooh, that's all very echoey, isn't it? I like that bit at the end. We should do more of those. They're quite fun. It looks like it's going to be you, Bear, isn't it, to do the next ball by Paul, starting off the Delhi Capital's reply.
It is indeed. It is me. I was just about to put something else on. I just read there's a sandstorm.
A sandstorm? Oh, my goodness me. Well, it looked very misty, looking at the TV screen in the last few minutes, and it's blowing up a bit of a gale by the looks of things.
Yeah, well, whilst they're figuring out the sandstorm, the fix was in, wasn't it, that last over? How can we get da-da-da-da-da to happen? I mean, why the hell would you put Stoinis on for the last over of a T20? In your right mind?
Well, you're taking pace off the ball.
Deliver some absolute filth.
Yeah, but he's hardly bowled. Yeah, the type of filth he bowls, though, it'll just stand up. And the thing is, there's no pace, there's nothing. I mean, he's not bowled particularly well the entire tournament anyway. What makes you think he's going to bowl the last over? I don't know. It just seemed extraordinarily odd to me.
I see what you mean about the sandstorm. It looks like that's what's delaying the resumption, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The umpires look a little bit, and it is very misty out there.
Well, that's going to be... What happens on the outfield in a sandstorm? Because it's dewy as well. You get a beach on the outfield.
Bucket and spade.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think Ahmedabad is kind of landlocked, isn't it? I don't think Ahmedabad's on the coast. So, yeah, you could have your own internal beach, I suppose. It's interesting to see what's going to happen here. How long does the average sandstorm last? Anyone know out there?
I don't know. Is it going to be like rain, stop, play? We're going to be sitting here for 3 hours. It's still going on.
Oh, no. Please don't do that to me. Don't do that. To any of us, really. Well, the umpires are sort of gradually ambling out to the edge of the field. I mean, there's a strong wind blowing, which suggests that's what's bringing in the sand, obviously.
Is it the sort of thing that no sooner has it arrived, it then goes again? I mean, we don't get many sandstorms at Milton Keynes. It's not the sort of place that tends to get them.
To be honest, if I had my way, I would just drop an enormous amount of sand on Milton. But there you go. That's another argument entirely. I don't know what's happening here. I've no idea.
Well, it is a sandstorm. Stopped it. But I mean, it could do interesting in the outfield if it is dewy and you get sand on it. Presumably it's not a lot of sand, but it's fine sand. But that could absorb some of the water. But then it might slow the ball up across the outfield drastically.
If you get sand into bits of the ball as well, into bits of the seam and whatever.
Yeah.
They haven't covered the pitch though.
No, they're just saying actually at least we don't have to put sawdust down for the bowl. Kohli is talking to one of the third umpire, isn't he, at the moment? I don't quite.
The TV men are going mental. They're going, you've got to get the game on. You've got to get the game on. It's not rain. Get it on. Get it on.
Well, I suppose it must be quite hard running into a strong breeze with sand sort of filling up your nostrils and your mouth as you try to bowl.
And your eyes, yeah. It must be, yeah, it's not good. Exactly. You shouldn't really play in it, I wouldn't have thought.
No. Just another thing to add to this extraordinary... I say extraordinary series, but extraordinary situation that's going on in India, really. Maybe this is... the sand god's way of saying the IPL should be cancelled. I don't know.
Well, do they get sandstorms? That is the other thing. Does someone think, oh shit, they get sandstorms at 10 o'clock every night in Ahmedabad? We didn't think about that.
Probably. Oh God, no. Oh dear, we made a mistake. Well, they're not actually coming on, are they?
No.
Excuse me. I guess we should go and have a look at Twitter. Who's twittering? Is it me?
I can tell you. Tomorrow's timings. You are social.
I'm social. I better go and have a look at social then and see what anyone's saying. I mean, you know.
While you do that, I found a stat from so De Villiers, in terms of balls faced, the quickest to 5,000 IPL runs in the history of the tournament. He's beaten David Warner and Suresh Raina. 3,288 balls.
Who was the next on the list, and how many balls did they face?
Warner 3,554.
Jesus, that's
Raina 3,620.
That's 300 balls quicker to 5,000 runs.
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, let's face it. Anything that takes David Warner out of the record books is good by me. Jeff Perkins says, I thought maybe Bear texted Boris to get Stoinis that last over.
Well, you know what? That did me I'm not going to lie, that did me a massive favour. I went over 166 and a half, and it looked like they were going to fall well short. And then they put Stoinis on. I was like, that's why I said the fix is in. Someone's on the same tip as me, had over a certain score in the backroom staff, in the management, and said, oi, stick Stoinis on. I need to get... I mean, it was just a really odd thing to do, I thought.
It's asking a lot of a bowler, especially if they're not a regular bowler, to finally bowl the ultimate death over, isn't it? I mean,
exactly.
It seems I mean, I suppose it could be one of those great decisions, or it could be one of those terrible decisions. It turned out to be one of those terrible decisions.
I mean, you're bowling at AB de Villiers who's on 50. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know who had left in the hutch, but presumably someone must have had one over left of his normal bowlers.
It was only Mishra, so it would have been spin if they had bowlers. He bowled 3, so...
Well, in that case, maybe
I don't think they got their sums wrong.
Maybe it's more understandable. But if I was
I mean, even someone like Rabada went for 38 off his 4, didn't he? So he was pretty expensive. And that's 9 and over. Jeff Perkins says, what's the sandstorm arranged by Steve Smith? Well, he is there. It's a good point. And Josie Oak says they should just man up and get out there. That's easy for you to say. Have you ever bowled
in a sandstorm?
Have you ever bowled into a sandstorm? What about the umpires? What if they're blinded as they're made to make an important decision? What if it interferes with the technology? The review system.
Everything's out.
Exactly. It could happen,
they review everything in this tournament anyway, so...
Well, that's true. Messi just says, this is the perfect chance to discuss the brilliant cricketer Shit Bloke 11. He says, Bradman, Grace and KP have already been selected. Vaughan obviously gets in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
David Warner, does he get in there?
Shane Warne.
Yeah. Should be quite good 11, actually.
Very good 11. Probably be top heavy or bottom heavy. There won't be other shit blokes. I can't think of
shit bloke bowlers.
You'll need to help us with that if you're out there on the Twitter sphere and you want to join in the discussion about the brilliant cricketer Shit Bloke 11. Get your recommendations into us and we will read them out. Messi, since you've already selected 3, I think you should get onto a few more of those. There must be a few more Australians when you get into that team. Mustn't there be?
Yeah, there's got to be.
What about one of the walls, maybe?
Well, but kind of Steve Waugh, he's come back from sort of talking about mental disintegration to sort of set up schools in India and things. So you can't really call him a completely shit bloke, can you? It's
Matthew Hayden. Matthew Hayden's got to be a shit bloke.
Matthew Hayden, how fat and bald is he getting? I mean, I'm not one to talk about these things, but has anyone noticed that? I didn't even realise.
I haven't seen him recently. Well, that's probably... maybe I have seen him and I didn't know.
Well, there you go. He's normally standing next to Danny Morrison, but you probably can't really tell them apart these days.
I haven't seen him this year, but I saw him last year. Danny Morrison's an annoying twat, isn't he?
He's annoying, but is he a shit bloke? I don't know. I don't really know. Botham says Nestlers.
Yeah, he could probably fit into that camp now.
At times, I think that's probably true.
Well, he's a Tory twat.
Boycott.
Yeah, boycott.
Boycott, yeah. That must be an 11 already, mustn't it? Is anyone writing these down?
We've got about 7 openers.
Yeah, exactly. It should be a bloody good team, as we said. But you wouldn't want to get them in the bar afterwards, would you? On that basis, you'd just say, right, we're all going home now, and avoid having to...
well, you might put them in a bar and film it.
Say again?
You might put them in a bar and film it, see what comes out of it.
Ooh, that could be violent. Ian Chappell?
Yeah, I was going to say Ian Chappell.
When you get Ian Chappell and Botham together, then that's perfect storm, really. Because they absolutely detest each other. Leah says, pretty sure is in with a chance to be immortalised by a winning innings in a game interrupted by a sandstorm, just like the man he has been compared to for years. Who's the man he's been compared to?
Tendulkar.
Right, okay.
He's a new Sachin. There's been a lot of new Sachins, much like there was a lot of new both. Is he? I don't know. I mean, they say that because he got 500 when he was a kid.
Yeah. Armchair Cricket Podcast says, would a super sopper also eat up all the sand, or does it come with a special attachment for sand?
We need
maybe we should get on to James Dyson, surely.
Absolutely. I was going to say, you need a vacuum cleaner, don't you, to get sand up, not super sopper.
Messi Jez is creating his own 11. He's got Douglas Jardine is in there.
Oh, yeah.
And Herschel Gibbs. Is Herschel Gibbs not a particularly nice bloke?
Fuck, Graham Smith's got to be in there, hasn't he?
Oh, Steve Smith, surely.
Steve, of course.
It says Barji. Presumably that's
Harbhajan Singh, isn't it?
Harbhajan, yeah. Oh, Andrew Simons? Andrew Simons?
Andrew Simons, yeah. He could be the all-rounder.
Yeah, he's quite worrying, isn't he?
There's got to be some sappers. There's got to be some sappers.
Very big unit.
There's got to be some sappers to go in there, isn't there?
Messi Jez begs to disagree with regards to Ian Chappell. He says, I will accept that. Opinionated but compassionate and smart. Compassionate? Ian Chappell?
No, I was thinking of Tony Gregg anyway.
Oh, you think of Tony Gregg? Why was he a shit bloke? He was just annoying, wasn't he?
Well, this is it.
By saying things like correction every few minutes and memorabilia.
And say we're going to murder them. I know.
Yeah, but that was years ago, wasn't it? I think he'd been pilloried enough for that, hadn't he?
Yeah, maybe.
It was always something that was being talked about whenever we played the West Indies, I think. Anyway, Sky have given up. Sky have given up, and they've gone to a piece about Atherton talking about W.G. Grace. So they're not overly hopeful
that this is going to get on.
An immediate resumption.
Let me see what's... Crick Info, the font of all knowledge, is saying no improvement in conditions yet. The players are still in their dugout. Let's see what they say about this. Would the sand from the storm dry out the dew?
Yeah, may do a bit, mightn't it? Might be the right thing. I mean, you won't put, as I say, you wouldn't have to put sawdust out there.
No.
What the bloody hell is going on here?
There's a sandstorm, Nestlers.
Nestlers, yeah.
What? Are you taking the piss?
No,
we're not.
There's been a sandstorm.
Well, there still is. It's in the area. Messi, can you see sandstorms on your radar? I mean, Messi Jez is always brilliant with the weather, and he looks at the radar and he tells us when a storm is coming in. What about sandstorms, Messi? We need your expertise on that. If you can help us out.
What have they called the game off? What?
No. They can't go out and bowl in a sandstorm, can they?
Well, no, obviously not. I mean, I didn't see anything. How bad is it then?
Well, it doesn't look that bad, but sandstorms are probably worse than rain, to be honest. Not for playing conditions, but in uncomfort.
You can't play with it going in your face, can you?
No, exactly. And it quite stings if it's going at quite a pace. It looks pretty windy.
Oh, dear. Poor sods.
Yeah, I know. It's not great, but there you go. We were just about to go and put some highlights on. Is that what you were thinking, Hendo?
Well, I was thinking back to those times you see back in the dim and distant past when they had no programmes to put on, and so they'd put a picture of a pottery, a pot being created.
Potter's wheel.
Pottery. What do you call it? Potter's wheel. They put a potter's wheel on, then they put some music on, and they just say interlude.
Interlude.
I was thinking we could do something like that. Who wants to be the potter? Who wants to do the pottering?
Like Ghost.
I think this means I've got enough time to nip to the supermarket to get some beer, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does.
Be careful out there.
Yeah, be careful.
I'll watch out the sun.
Debut interrupted by sandstorm has to be a Gorilla Cricket first.
It is, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Confirm, mate.
Do you think he's done it deliberately? Do you think he's had a word with the weather gods because he just wants to make an impression? Is that what it is, Chris? Is that what you've done?
We've scared him off.
Yeah, I bring the sand with me.
You bring the sand with you?
I bring the tempest wherever I go. Yeah.
You get a lot of sandstorms in Pembrokeshire.
Are you in Pembrokeshire?
Sometimes, yeah, I'm in Pembrokeshire. Not so sunny today, Pembrokeshire, and yeah, it is pretty idyllic. It's good if you can work from home. If you can't work from home, you're a bit screwed. Fortunately, I can. So yeah, the work-life balance is good.
Are you looking out onto a lovely beach or something like that?
No, I can show you the cherry blossoms in the back, the garden. Sorry, my neighbour was there randomly as well.
Random neighbour. Does she know that she's been on?
Does she know she's been beamed around the world?
Yeah, so you've got the meadows. The meadows there.
Excellent.
But yeah, I'm about 2 miles from the coast. It's pretty
right.
cool.
That's not bad, is it? That's quite nice. Ravi Nair says, with regard to your Bradman 11, Lillian Marsh have to be in there for their treatment of Kim Hughes and Colin Cowdrey. Was Colin Cowdrey a nice bloke? Oh, he was the one who used to say, "Hello, I'm Colin," didn't he? And shake hands with the opposition when he went out to bat. Farong says, Universal Boss and perhaps Bishop the West Indian could be added to your team. If a Bishop? What? Ian Bishop? That's a bit harsh, isn't it? I thought everyone loved Ian Bishop.
I don't know.
Messenger says there's absolutely nothing showing on the Ahmedabad weather radar, unfortunately. So that's not going to help us. Jersey Oak says they're suggesting about 20 minutes.
Oh, hold on.
Leah says, I'm nearly 600 kilometres closer to the stadium than you, and here everything looks fine. Should only be a matter of minutes, I reckon.
Well, they're back.
They're back!
We
don't need to play the interlude.
We don't need to do the interlude. So, Nestlers, you're not on, are you?
No,
I'm not on.
You, me and Rob. Away you go, Nestlers.
We'll see you soon.
172 win from 120 balls. Could be fun.
It could be indeed. It's me up first, isn't it? Oh, who's batting then? So it'll be Prithvi. And Prithvi.
This young chap here's got Prithvi Shaw. When he steps up, the crowd want more. He made 500 when he was 14. No pressure there. I hope he's not peaked too early.
Who's opening the bowling?
Daniel Sams.
Ah, right. We didn't have his jingle.
Golden arm. He's Daniel Sams, the man with the sweet left arm. He'll do you harm.
Well, his first ball is full and outside off stump. Prithvi Shaw drives it to cover, and there's no one. It's still bloody windy out there. I got lucky at the end of the innings, as I said. I went over 166.5, and they put Stoinis on for me. That was great. And I've gone under 26.5 for the fall of the first wicket. 24.5. I didn't get it in the first innings. Hopefully I'll get it in the second. They've got to go out of pace now, having let them get over 170. Full outside off stump, driven sweetly. You can't bowl there, but there is a man out. Well, you can, I suppose, if you think you don't want to lose more than one run, because they've got the man out at deep point. It'll just be a single. Shaw get himself off the mark. Shikhar is in. Someone pointed out here, he's probably the most consistent batsman in the IPL this year so far.
Well, I mean, he had a very good end to the last one as well. I mean, he was struggling, and then he went through a run where he just got 50s and 100s for fun.
Yeah.
And he's kind of carried that on, really, in this tournament so far.
Well, Sam's got off to a decent start with 2 balls. And Shikhar is taking his time. There's probably a third slip. There's a backward point. There's a cover. And there's a mid-off. He's quite wide. Mid-on. A man on the 45 and a mid-wicket. As Shikhar just goes back, cuts it out to point. Man comes from behind point to field on the edge of the circle. It'll be a single. It's all smiles out there. I suppose I was going to say something, but I won't. 2 for none. Target 172. And the wind still seems to be blowing a little bit. Have we got anything on Twitter, Hendo?
Not very much at the moment. They're just sort of regrouping and getting ready for the next rush. So that should be... I'm expecting that. I'm anticipating that in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Prithvi Shaw always looks like he's got a smirk on his face.
There are players like that, aren't there?
Yeah.
Mitchell Johnson.
Sam's in, 2 leg sidey. I think he took a pace off that. Seemed to be a much slower delivery, and Shaw can just tuck it around the corner. Down to long leg, he'll get himself a single. Yeah, it's 114 kilometres an hour. It's pretty slow.
Universal Boss. Jeff Perkins says, I think you'll find that suggestion was for Chris Gale, not Ian Bishop. But Bishop is mentioned, is he not? Bishop the West Indian is mentioned in that.
Yes, that way was it?
Yes, I don't know what that means. Knackle has joined us.
Sam in, and attempted uppercut by Dewan from another really, it seemed a lot slower than 130 clicks, but attempted uppercut by Shikhar Dhawan, didn't get anything on it, dropped before it got to A.B. de Villiers. Which is why I thought
seen a few like that on this pitch. The short ball has sort of died on the batsman. Ironically, the only bowler that didn't happen to was Stoinis.
Yeah.
And he got hit out of the park when he bowled short.
Yeah. It did carry through to AB. I thought the bounce would fall him. Full, and it comes in a little bit to Shikhar Dhawan, but he goes back, and it seems to stand up for him. He smashes it out deep mid-wicket. Quite straight, and it'll be the first boundary of the innings.
2 + 2 is a man.
Right, some tweets. Brian Barrett says, when I heard there was a sandstorm delay, I thought they were just blaring the Darude song really loudly. Does anyone understand that? I don't know the Darude song.
No.
I'm not really with it these days. If I ever was.
Yeah, well, there's a picture.
Who are Darude? Who are Darude?
I presume they're a musician. Or
I presume, but I don't know them. Knackle says he was quite good commentating alongside Ian Bishop on the CPL last year when the general tone was calm. Similarly, when he does test matches, he totally plays up the clown. I'm not sure who he's talking to about there.
Danny Morrison? I think Danny Morrison, I think.
I don't know who's talking about who at the moment. It's all very confusing. O'Neill Harris says, Hansi Cronje, shipbloke, 11.
Oh.
Yeah, but he came to us a nasty end, and I feel a bit bad about that.
Well, it was an accident.
Well, no. I was, but it's a sort of it's kind of tragic, isn't it?
It is kind of tragic. I'll give you that. Mohamed Siraj is in for the second over of the innings, and first ball is nicely clipped by Prithvi Shaw between mid-wicket and mid-on, out to the boundary for 4 more runs.
It's me, says she. It's me, says she.
What a lovely shot.
It was a very nice shot, wasn't it? Why can't I have... There he is.
When you gotta fight to win the frustrates, gotta find a way to land in the food. There's only one man who can save us now. It's Mohamed Siraj.
Well, maybe he's the only man. I don't think he's the only man who can save RCB. I think 172 is a pretty decent target. On the back foot, Prithvi Shaw just drops it out on the offside. And it's fielded by Dev, and they'll get through for an easy single, bringing Shikhar back on strike.
Just going to have a look at Shikhar Dhawan's...
He's the orange cap wearer at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to see what are his scores so far this year. Let me have a look. 85, 9, 92, 45 and 28.
So you've got to get him out early, basically.
Sounds like it, doesn't it? Yeah.
If you don't, he punishes you. Sign of a good batsman.
Well, he doesn't get in the test team anymore, does he? He's a bit too erratic and a bit, maybe, I won't say he's a bit too attacking, but you've got plenty of attacking players in that Indian side now anyway.
Absolutely. There's only Shafer Jari who isn't really.
Well, yeah.
And maybe Ajinkya Rahane can do that role a bit as well, but he's a fluid player, classy player. Clipped into the leg side by Shikhar Dhawan, out towards the long leg. They'll get themselves through for a single. Although conversely, I don't see Rahane as a quality T20 player. I mean, he's a nice batsman, don't get me wrong, but he just seems out of time in the modern IPL.
I've seen games in which he does. I mean, he can score quickly. Tends to go over extra cover quite a lot. It's quite surprising because he's quite a small and slight man, isn't he?
Yeah. That's what KL Rahul. Yeah, I mean KL Rahul. I suppose if he scores, I think that's going to be leg buys. But there's an appeal from the bowler. But I think he was angling it down the leg side, and AB's intimating that. He's telling Virat, and there was definitely leg. It was leg buys. I don't think there was any bat in it.
Well, I guess they're just hoping to not have the wide, aren't they? They're hoping that it's got a bit of pad on that, so that it isn't signalled as a wide and an extra ball.
Yeah, I think it definitely did. Yeah, 4 leg byes it's given us.
Yeah.
I think there was a slight debate as to whether they were going to review that, but wisely, I think, opted against.
Well, it would have been fucking foolish to review that. It hit him about 4 stumps, 3. Well, it hit him, 2 stumps outside leg stump. Terrible. That was the decision. Beautiful drive by Prithvi Shaw. Straight back past Mohammad Shiraz. Maybe it isn't very easy to bowl in a sandstorm, because that one has gone for 4 as well.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There's one thing I noticed about Prithvi Shaw, and there's 1 or 2 of these players actually now in India, is the backlift. He's got a phenomenal backlift. It reminds me his backlift of Brian Lara, only a right-hand version. Got a very loose and high backlift.
Good pendulum.
He really lays into those over-pitch deliveries.
And more speed in the bat, more timing. Anyway, Mohammad Shiraz is in. Beautiful drive. That's a lovely shot by Prithvi Shaw out to deep extra cover. They'll get back for 2. Really leant on that and drove that sweetly. And they're 22 after 2. That's a pretty good start. And I've only got 1.5 runs to play with, Hender. That's really annoying.
Well, you've been a bit. I don't know. You've been betting a lot this afternoon. It seems to me.
Well, I was going to lose 3 in a row, and then I won that one because of Stoinis. So I'm happy. So, but I always go under. If I do bet, I always go under for the first wicket. Often people are trying to strike out, and you often get an early wicket. But today, in both innings, it looks like it's not going to be the case.
Well, I think that's true of any form of cricket, then, isn't it? You can always get an early wicket. New ball, fresh bowlers. You're not going to get that many huge opening stands, are you?
No, not at all.
So what's Shaw got? 13 off 8, 6 to Shikhar Dhawan.
Yeah, and the Pigster's in next. Twitching away in the dugout. Around the wicket is Sams. He lumbers in.
No, it isn't.
It's Jameson. I was going to say, he lumbers in, he looks a lot like Jameson.
And he bowls with the other arm. But apart from that, you were really close.
So Jameson is into the attack. I should find him and give him a jingle. If I can find him. I can't. So he's got to bowl under the ball whilst I look for it. I found him now. He is around the wicket to the left-handed Shaw. Shikhar Dhawan. He comes down the track at him and just defends it up to mid-off, and there's no run. Out to cover. And there's no run. I thought he bowled pretty well in the last game that I saw him bowl in. Jameson.
I think he's having a decent tournament.
Yeah, I think he is as well. He's such a man mountain. He doesn't bowl it that quick, but I guess he can get lengths that other people can't get that are just troubling. Just purely because of his height. He's going to come into bowl to Shikhar Dhawan, who tries to give himself some room outside leg stump, gets a top edge. Oh, and he's out, and I got my fucking bet. How did you believe it? Top edge, poor shot by Shikhar Dhawan. Tried to give himself some room outside leg stump. Jameson followed him, and he went through with a shot, got a big top edge, never timed it at all, and the fielder was placed exactly there, hardly had to move, straight into his hands, and they lose the first wicket of the afternoon.
How's that? You missed the bout, I caught you out. How's that?
I reckon that ball came down with sand on it.
Might well have done. Yuvendra Chahal caught that. Not the greatest fielder. Trying to hide him away, but he hung on to that one quite sweetly.
Well, yeah, I mean, he didn't have to move, did he? It was perfect catch for a man who doesn't like to have to run too far.
Well, exactly.
And Nindo has joined us. He says, I turn the volume off when he's on, ear-splitting noise. I presume he's talking about Danny Morrison. John Mayhew says, Jardine is dependable, fiercely loyal to teammates, hostile to the establishment, picked a diverse team ahead of his time. I'd share a pint with him, unlike others. I can think of other people who would. Dan's a big fan, isn't he? Dan North was a big fan of Douglas. Brian Bush says, thanks, Knuckle. I'm glad one of you got it. I don't know what he was talking about. It was something to do with a song. O'Neill Harris says, who was the Sri Lanka batsman who became a politician and fell out with everyone? Not Jayasuriya, Ravinda De Silva. There have been quite a few Sri Lankans who seem to have gone into politics.
Yes.
Jayasuriya went into politics, didn't he?
That's the one, but he doesn't mean him, he means someone else. Heath Streak now gets into the shit bloke 11 now.
Oh, yes. That's a good shout, Heath Streak.
After what's happened, I suppose.
Well, we have a jingle for the new batsman.
Inevitable. You know Steve Smith's inevitable.
And his first ball, he gets behind it and just drives off the back foot to cover, and there's no run.
Hits the ball in the air across the boundary line. He ain't going nowhere.
He's a man who's had a bit of a quiet time of it recently, isn't he, Steve Smith?
Well, he was left out in the first couple of games, wasn't he? I mean, he lost the captaincy of Rajasthan, moved to Delhi, and didn't get picked for those first couple of games. I'm back since then. He played one innings, I remember, that was pretty good.
Jameson is in to him. He just defends it out to the offside. There's no run. But, I mean, he's another one. I mean, the thing with all these top players, Kane Williamson is the one who's, for me, at the top at the moment. All the others have had a slight dip. Virat Kohli didn't have a great series against England. Steve Smith didn't have a great series over the winter with the Australians versus India. But Kane Williamson sort of came in hot. I suppose Root started off the season really hot and then struggled. But I think most people would have done in India. That's a pull, though, by Steve Smith. Beautiful shot. Out to very wide, long on. And trots over the boundary at good pace for 4 runs. And that ends the third over. 27 for 1. Tweet, Tendo?
Yes, tweets, indeed. You're quite right to call me up on this because I'm looking at something else, but I'll come back to the tweets and I will tell you that we've been contacted by none other than Knucklepandy, who says Sandstorm by Darude is an absolute banger. I can only assume the actual storm was the desert trying to reclaim the Modi dome.
Yeah, well, maybe it would do a bit of karma. Mohammad Shiraz is going to continue. Got hit for 12 in his first over. Prithvi Shaw is still out there, 13 off 8. Smith's now 4 off 3, 27 for 1 after 3. Good start, 9 and over. Probably want to keep that going for the 6 overs, 45-50. You can get more than that in a power play, you're doing all right. Siraj is in, clipped into the leg side by Prithvi Shaw, gets inside the line and plays it out to deep mid wicket. They'll just get a single.
Let me catch up on some tweets while we're going. Rahani might have a slighter frame, Hendo, but I wouldn't fuck around with him because he's also got a black belt in karate, says Leah. Neil Harris adds Darren Lehman to the ship bloke 11, great cricketer ship bloke, and then has a list of Australians, which isn't hard to do.
Well, exactly. Who's that? Who did we miss out, Hendo? That's what I want. What's the list?
Well, he's saying Nathan Lyons.
I like Nathan Lyon, but then I'm part of Spinners Union, so that's fine.
I think we've accounted for the others. We need another spinner.
Nice. No, we've got Shane Warne. We had Shane Warne.
Yeah, Shane Warne. You only need Shane Warne. That's driven by Smith. Can't beat cover. It's Kohli. He's very close in. Showing away, looking very well shaven. He's got a few little grey hairs popping up in his beard, hasn't he? Old Virat.
Old Virat.
Yes.
Old Virat. Poor old Virat. He still looks pretty chipper in the field. He still looks pretty energetic to me, though.
Well, yeah, he does, but that's what I mean. A bit of few early grey hairs. You wonder how long before the dye comes out. Siraj is in. Driven out. Smith has gone, and the old shush sign from Siraj. That's a good wicket to get. Beautiful ball, just held its line on off stump. Driven out. Smith really didn't move his feet, as this is Smith's way, but he didn't get it in the middle of the bat, and there was a thin edge through to AB behind the stumps, and the second wicket falls, and that's quite a biggie.
It's a lovely ball, isn't it? It's a real cracker. Turned it round a little bit. And well, actually, it was a bigger edge than you made out. Actually, to be honest, I think.
Yeah, it looks on the replay, doesn't it? It turned it around completely, and it was quite a thick edge in the end.
He can't bat when Sand's around.
No.
It's a bit much to expect of him.
Flashbacks for him.
Yeah, well, I mean, tell you what, you couldn't ask for a more exciting pair out there in the middle now, could you?
Well, you could not, could you? Because this man has come to the crease. It's the skipper. But the flip side of that, if the RCBs can get through one of this pair, and particularly Pant, you'd have thought, and with only in the power play, could be horribly wrong. You know what? I fancy that.
Well, it's not unlike the position that the RCBs were in, was it? I mean, they got to 30, didn't they? And then they lost Kohli and Padikkal in successive balls, although in different overs. So they were about 31 for 2, I think.
They were. And then they went quite slowly for a while, didn't they? And they lost those 2 wickets in quick succession. Siraj is going to come around the wicket to Rishabh Pant, who seems to be quite a way out of his crease. He defends it straight to mid-off, who throws it at the bowler's end. There's a misfield on the backup that behind him cover is covering. And then there was a terrible throw back in, wasn't there? Kohli's got his head in his hands. I don't know why. They didn't get the buzzer.
Every shot at the stumps or every sort of near catch, it's like it's the biggest disaster of
I don't think that was particularly close to the stumps. I mean, if it had been accurate, probably would have been out. But I think it was a good foot or 2 wide. It was a good throw on the. Well, he was diving as he threw it, but it was quite wide. Not a head in hands one.
I think what was quite interesting also was that Siraj actually got out the way of Pant as he was running then, and he could have quite easily stood his ground.
Got shoulder barge.
Need lots of trouble.
Siraj is in. Shaw gets in behind it, can't turn it around to the leg side, just drops out on the offside, and there is no run. Cross seam delivery.
Farong says, yes, I did include Ian Bishop in my team of twats due to his rant towards the current West Indies team. Can't remember if it was during the Test series in Bangladesh or the series prior. He stated they were soft and needed to toughen up.
That's when he offered to get his belt off, isn't it, or something?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to see that from him.
Siraj, last ball of the 4th over, full outside off stump, timed sweetly as a poor ball, low full toss, wide of off stump, and Prithvi Shaw spanks it, drives it through the covers, all the way to the extra cover boundary for another 4 runs.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
It's got that a little bit wrong.
Yeah, it did. It was a giveaway, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was a buffet ball.
It was a buffet ball. Definitely a buffet ball.
Leah suggests that no Bradman 11 will be complete without Navjot's things to do. Apparently, well, I won't go into that because I'm not really sure about the facts behind that, but I'll leave the rest of it. The bit that separates the very good players from the great ones is that little bit of nastiness, making almost all the great players shit blokes or shit lasses. Discuss, please, Armchair Cricket Podcast. I mean, I don't think a nasty bloke. I get the impression he's quite a cheerful chap. I mean, I suppose you could argue about Ben Stokes to a certain extent.
Yeah. Full by Jameson as he comes around the wicket to Rishabh Pant, who just defends it out in the offside to cover, and there's no run off the front foot. 2,205 runs, 14 50s in 74 matches for Rishabh Pant. Go on, Hendo.
Yeah, Josie Oak suggests Dermot Reeve. Armchair Cricket Podcast says really crucial couple of blows for RCB, but their good work needs to continue as the formidable skipper Rishabh Pant comes in.
Well, this is it, and that's bowled too far down leg side, angling down leg side from Jameson around the wicket, and Rishabh Pant tries to get inside, work it into the leg side, it misses, hits his thigh pad, just drills out the leg side. Jameson fields off his own bowling, and there's no run.
Now, I don't know, the Nestle boys sent us a video of a strange creature sitting in a barrel drinking from a tap. I don't know what that is, Nestle. Is that a real Shoebill Lux? I have no idea what that is. Tell me what it is.
Is it a cat?
It's not a cat. It's definitely not a cat.
I'm going to have to go and look at Twitter now. Jameson around the wicket, lumbers up to the crease. He has no pace coming up to the crease, does he, Jameson? He just kind of lumbers up and then jumps and boom.
You don't want to waste your energy, do you? If you can conserve and you can still get the pace that you want.
It must be a lot of energy for someone his size as well. Isn't that a groundhog?
Oh, it could be a groundhog. Yeah, you're right. It could be a groundhog. A groundhog drinking or failing to drink from a tap, it appears. Or is he actually emptying water into a glass? I can't tell. Can't actually tell.
Is that one of Nesto's made up things, or is that a real video? That's played round the corner to again angled in at the hip of Rishabh Pant by Jameson. This time he does lay a bat on it. It goes down to long leg. It'll just be the one. Good over so far. 3 dots and a single. Only one off the first 4 balls.
Messi Jez says, of course, the Ship Boys 11 will provide an umpire in the form of Daryl Hare.
Yes.
Other umpires that weren't great blokes. I don't know. I saw Daryl Hare having a pint in the trip to Jerusalem in Nottingham one day after the game at Trent Bridge. Can't be all bad. Goes to a nice little pub.
Jameson is over the wicket to Prithvi Shaw, who goes halfway down the track after just defending it square on the offside. It's pretty much straight to point. He sets off. Rishabh Pant wasn't really that interested. He slammed on the brakes, turned back, and there was no trouble in the end. But there was no run, so 5 balls and just the 1 run so far this over.
On a similar theme to seeing umpires in a pub, I remember stumbling once across the Premiership Rugby referees' Christmas outing in Twickenham.
Really?
And they were all getting hammered in one of the pubs in Twickenham. These referees who, they're what rugby refs like. They're quite bossy, and it was hilarious.
This time played with soft hands and just dropped into the offside by Prithvi Shaw. With no pace in it whatsoever. All the fielders on the edge of the circle have to race in. It allows them to get through for the single, and he'll retain the strike. Just 2 runs off that over.
Right, some tweets. Warren says, greetings all, stupid work. Bishop yanking off his belt, ready for the bashing he got from Annie. That's Annie Chave, who beat him in the being outside cricket bizarre tournament. I don't know what it is between various commentators, although I noticed that Annie was the only one of the Gorillas who got into that. And apparently she didn't even vote for herself. I saw her tweeting this morning. She was up against Holding in the next round, and she didn't even vote for herself against Michael Holding. So I think she's taken a dive, and Michael Holding ventures on.
I think it was for writing, though, wasn't it? Not for broadcasting. I think it was for writing, not broadcasting, for some reason. I thought.
Oh, was it? Okay, I don't know. Maybe you can update the T-shirt to "Shit Blokes Take Wickets" or "Get Runs," says Perko. That's a good idea.
Sams is going to be back on. He's replacing Siraj. He's around the wicket to Prithvi Shaw, who clips that leg side. It's up in the air. Oh dear, who's that out there? Thought they could have made a better effort at that. He clipped it aerial, completely mistimed it. It was up in the air for a very long time. Whoever was out there in the deep on that, he might have been behind square. Is that Padikal?
I didn't think it was. No, I think he's taller. I don't know who that was actually.
Where was he? Well, he didn't have that far to go. Maybe he got held up in the wind in a sandstorm.
It was Padikal, I think, yeah.
And he didn't seem to do the travelling that was necessary to get there, and he seemed to have the time. Well, it felt like that anyway, but maybe not.
He could have run him out, though. He could have run him out because Prithvi went back for the start to go back for the second, and the throw was very good.
Yeah.
But it was spilled by the bowler up at the stumps, and I think if he'd taken it cleanly,
it would have been close.
He'd have been in trouble.
Yeah. Well, Pant's going to be back on strike. He's only got 2 or 5 balls so far. Sams is over the wicket to him, full and dropped. Driven very wide of his off stump. He likes it out there, but got a bit too wide of the ball itself and came off the inside half of the bat up to mid on. Was cut off by diving. Was that Kohli, I presume, at cover, being that active?
He's the only man who dives, isn't he?
Yeah.
Nestor says it's a kabara enjoying a hot bath. They are great rodents. And Leah corrects him. He says it's a capybara.
Capybara, that's it.
Extant species of rodent. Yeah, they're lovely, aren't they? They're very nice. Well, I've never been close to one.
South American predominantly, aren't they? Hoyt into the leg side. There's no one out there. Out to cow corner. We've seen Rishabh Pant do a lot of that in the last few months. Generally pains us. But it's 4 runs.
Farong says, in the first game, Carl Jamieson finished with none for 31. Since then, he's bowled very well. Definitely deserves an IPL Encouragement Award. Who else remembers the old Encouragement Awards from sporting clubs? I don't remember those. I don't remember having one of those.
I got Most Improved Player when I played football once, but I think I was starting from a low base.
My son got that as well. Angled in once more to the pads, and again they hair off for the slow getting rid of the ball down at short fine leg. Sort of decided to really take aim and missed anyway, which gave Rishabh Pant time to turn around and get back. He'd haired down the track. He was good halfway down nearly. Prithvi Shaw sent him back, and the overthrow was in. Let's have a look. If that had been... No, he's in before the balls appeared on the screen. So he made it back easily. I'm sure that would have gone to a Woodstock review had it hit the stumps, even though he was past the stumps.
You do wonder if there's a run out coming, though, don't you?
You kind of do, don't you? I mean, there's nearly 3 in 2 overs. A slower into the pitch, pulled square, good bit of fielding out in the deep. I think that's Padikal again. And AB decides to dummy it just to test out the backer-upper's response time, which is reasonable as he stops it. 42 for 2 or 5.5. It seemed to come off the pitch inordinately slowly, didn't it? This pitch has got no pace in it whatsoever.
But I think you're right. He dug it in short and slow, didn't he?
Yeah, but it really sits up and it really takes it. I mean, very pronounced on this pitch. Again, he's really banged that up, and it's got chest high. On the loop, it's almost coming down by the time he gets to Rishabh Pant, who mistimes his pull around a corner, straight down the long leg for a single. And that'll be the end of the 6th over. 43 for 2.
Power play gone. 43 for 2. I'm not quite sure how that relates to RCB. They were 36 for 2 at the same stage. Armchair Cricket Podcast says, no doubt whoever that competes in an IPL final needs to get past Chennai and the Mumbai Indians, but one feels this game is a foreshadowing of the finals for this year. Any takers? I don't know. I think Delhi can do well. I'm not sure about RCB. I think they've got to win this. I said it earlier, and I think they've got to win this game. They lose 2 in a row, suddenly people will start whispering and saying, oh, they're falling away again, and they were just, they're a busted flush, or they flattered to deceive, all those sort of things. Sorry, Rob.
No, I was going to say, I think in a competition, though, if you can get early form, it just counts for a lot, because you can have a dip and come back, whereas if you start really badly, you're chasing the whole competition. And I think in a T20 competition where everyone's quite evenly matched, it's quite important to get a good start, because it allows you to have that drop off, come back and still get yourself in the reckoning.
Yep, fair point.
Washington Sundar is going to come into the attack, and he is going to be bowling right arm around the wicket, flat, and that's worth an appeal. How's that? He's been given. I think you can try and review that, Richard, but I think you'll find it's probably clipping leg stump, and having been given, it's pitched in line. He has decided to review. I think that's out, isn't it, Endo?
Well, I don't think it's hit his pad, has it? It's hit his body, if anything.
Well, he's so low. He's got very low. I mean, it's not very high. It's not going over the stump.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying it's not a sort of orthodox LBW.
No.
It certainly looked quite close. It wasn't a great ball.
No, it wasn't. It was a terrible ball, really. It should have been slapped down. Yeah, I think that's going to hit.
That's hit the top of the pad, hasn't it?
Yeah. But he's a very short man, and his front leg is stretched out in front of him. We're going to have a look now. There's a little bit of an edge. I think he's got a little bit of bat on that.
I say.
I think he's going to be a lucky boy.
Yeah, he's got an under edge, hasn't he?
It's very, very, very marginal. I mean, that ball should have gone down to the boundary. It was a pretty poor delivery.
Yeah, I'd like to see, actually, I'd love to see Hawkeye, or the continuation of that ball, to see whether it would have hit.
I think it was. I think it's hitting leg stump.
I think it might have been umpire's call.
Yeah, I think it might have been umpire's call, but I think.
But yeah, if he'd have not hit it, he'd have been on his way. I think.
Yeah, it looked kind of right. I mean, it sort of did straighten enough, I think, from a sort of midland leg line. Around the wicket, Sundar again. Down the track comes Pant, knocks it into the leg side, hairs off for the first. Thinking about 2 as he's not got much pace on the delivery of the shot. But the fielders are in quickly and it'll only be the 1.
Ravi Nair has given us the Shit Blokes Good Cricketers 11 in full. He says boycott Hayden, Cronje, Chappelli, Azharuddin, Simons, Marsh, Bargy, Lily Bishop and Truman. Truman instead of KP. When you think of the thing that KP said about James Taylor, that was horrible. Horrible man.
Yes, indeed. Sundar's going to remain around the wicket to the right-handed Prithvi Shaw. Again, bowls it with pace into the wicket for a spinner. It's weird. It's just flat darts, really. But they're purchasing, and it did straighten. And Prithvi Shaw could get it nowhere but a fielder, and there's no run. What is it, Henry?
Just look at the reaction of Kohli when he thought he got that LBW. It was unbelievable.
Exactly. Prithvi Shaw knocks the next one back to the bowler. Ah, look at that.
And then when he sees there's the under edge, the mouth is agape.
It's just like, no! Tossed up. Ooh, on the back foot. Pretty sure. I thought he was trying to play it square, and that seemed to scoop it around. Mistimed aerial out towards the sort of 30-yard circle up to mid-off. But it bounced way before the man out there in the deep, and it'll just be the 1 run.
Now, I'm sure Nakul will tell me this, but I think there is a Mohammed Azharuddin playing in this tournament, or certainly in one of the teams.
Oh, really?
And I can't remember which one it is, but it's obviously not the original Mohammed Azharuddin.
He was a great batsman before he did what he did, wasn't he?
Oh, brilliant bat.
Clipped into the leg side, out towards deep mid-wicket. That's fielding on the boundary, hairs in, and again it'll only be 1 run that ends the over. I think it's the end of me, isn't it, for 6
that
overs?
Is.
I shall see you shortly, and let you guys, whoever's taken over, take over.
Well, it'll be Rob. I just want to say, let me just say to Nestle that I'm up to Armchair Cricket Podcast's tweet on Steve Smith.
Okay. So, Nestlers and Chris are rejoining us.
Hello.
With the fairly similar to the start from the first innings. 46 for 2 in 7, with the target 172. And I must admit, in real time, I thought that Pant LBW was dead. That little under edge could be a crucial moment in this game.
Well, as someone on Twitter said that he didn't think that he knew he hit that.
No, I don't think he did, because he didn't review it instantly.
Yeah. It was the faintest of faint edges, wasn't it?
Yep, but
the barest of margins.
Very much so. They all count.
Armchair Cricket Podcast says it's been a lukewarm IPL for Steve Smith. Do Delhi Capitals persist with him, or do they look to replace him with Rahane or Sam Billings?
Well, I'm not sure about replacing Steve Smith with Sam Billings, but it has been, he hasn't been at his best in the tournament so far. Someone who has is Harshal Patel, who's come into the attack, although he did go for 37 the other day, and it's turned into the leg side for a single from the first ball he's bowled tonight. 15 wickets, but his economy is 8.35 at the top of the year.
The Bear wants to play a jingle. Oh, he's played it. Good job I can lip read. I can't.
Avesh Khan has gone into second place on the wickets total after he got 1 in the first innings, as Harshal comes into bowl Shaw outside the off stump. Is he caught behind? No, he's not. The way De Villiers went up there, no, he is. He's caught behind. I thought the umpire hadn't given it, but Shaw is walking off, and that is the third wicket. The way De Villiers went up, I thought it was a certainty. Then the umpire didn't look like he'd raised his finger, and Shaw has indeed walked off, and RCB have their third wicket.
Now you're gone,
It was a pretty rank delivery. Wide outside the off stump, but Shaw chased it and he's caught behind for 21.
Unravelling a bit there. O'Neill Harris says, Salim Malik for Shitbloke 11. I don't think one rank makes you a shitbloke, so please omit Bishop. Lara had a lot of tantrums throughout his career that made him a horrible captain, but he's not a shitbloke.
I was thinking in between innings about the good bloke 11, and I got as far as Henry Alonga. And that was about it.
That it? Oh dear.
The new batsman is the Bears' best mate from the first innings, Marcus Stoinis.
All the side wants is a Marcus Stoinis. He's the solution, and all the side wants is a Marcus Stoinis. Yeah.
And his first ball is cut away. It was aerial, but there was no one sort of in the point region. It goes down to the man on the third man boundary, and Stoinis is away with a single. 48-3.
Here's the thing for you. Gorilla jingles that you actually couldn't stand as songs when they were sort of came out. But as jingles, you kind of bop along to them and like them. I will go for the Marcus Stoinis jingle as one.
Adil Rashid, I can't stand Brimful of Asher as a song.
No.
Mark Wood.
Oh, I like
Black
that.
Beauty theme. I love that jingle, but no, I wouldn't listen to the Black Beauty theme for fun.
Oh, I don't know.
And plays us into the leg side for the next delivery, and they'll get another single.
There's about half the team running after that ball there.
I think they're very enthusiastic, the RCB team. They're like the sort of junior kids who chase after everything when you see kids cricket.
Well, they've got Mr. K shouting at them, haven't they?
So Stoinis is getting ready to face his second ball. As Harshall runs in, bowls a bit wider of the crease that time and played down the ground by Stoinis. They'll get 1 to the man at long on. Stoinis goes to 2.
That said, there's quite a lot of jingles that Mog makes of songs that I do like anyway. Some of his more mad stuff is stuff I've probably bought and got to see down the years. But yeah, there are some that I just love as jingles. Some I don't know as jingles, and then I hear them and go, hang on a minute.
Harshall round the wicket to complete the over, and Pant drives this away, but it's well fielded there by the man just on the edge of the circle. There's no run. Good first over from Harshall. It's 50 for 3 after 8.
Barong tells us RCB was 6-3 in the UAE and then lost the next 4 games. They beat DC in their final game to make the playoffs, but lost to Sunrisers. Not quite the Spurs of the IPL, or are they? Stoinis, you say, says Leia, and then puts a picture up of a guy who I don't know. A hairy bloke. Obviously in one of these kind of like, she's going to kill me now, sort of Game of Thrones type things or whatever. I don't know, Leia. Armchair Cricket Podcast. Some work to do for Harshall after that pasting against CSK. He's begun well by dismissing Prithvi Shaw.
Indeed. That was a good over from him, in fairness, after the nightmare he suffered over the weekend with the over that went for 37. As I was saying earlier, I saw a game once, I think it was Scott Styrus was playing for Sussex. It was definitely at Sussex. He got 38. I think it was Scott Styrus. Anyway, we're going to have Chahal into the attack, and he bowls to Stoinis. Oh, that was a really good delivery. I don't think it's taken an edge of Stoinis' bat. De Villiers dropped the ball anyway behind the stumps, but that really skidded through. And Stoinis, I think, relieved to just still be there after that delivery. It's missed everything. We'll see it again on the replay. Oh, it sort of looks like it's bounced off the stump, but the bails haven't come off.
It's quite extraordinary.
It is. Stoinis plays the next one down the ground, and they take 1.
I couldn't figure out what happened at all, though. Didn't they?
No.
Here we go. This angle will help. Still don't know what went on.
Somehow missed the bail. Somehow didn't get caught.
I have absolutely no idea how that missed everything. And I think Chahal probably doesn't realise anyway. Is he?
And we're seeing Ultra Edge now.
It's definitely not come off the... Has it sort of flipped the top of the pad? Yes. It's the top of the pad. No one appealed for LBW.
That's where.
And he'd have been out.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. As Pant smashes this one into the offside, it's sort of taken the fielder with him. And that's Maxwell down there, who I think has been struck on the hand. He looks okay though, and they're able to get through for a single.
That was one of those ones where there's absolutely too much going on for anyone to be sure of what happened. The bowler, the wicketkeeper.
Well, it would have been umpire's call. They've just shown the ball tracking for the LBW. So if they had reviewed the LBW shout, it wouldn't have been overturned. But yeah, you're right. It was one of those where
no one knew what the hell happened.
So much happened so quickly that they didn't really know what had happened.
It probably would have been a shout if they'd looked, but like you say, not out.
Slip in for Stoinis, who's come a long way down the pitch this time. There was half an appeal from behind the stumps for LBW. The bowler's not interested. Kohli will now come and inquire. But
to run the clock down.
Yeah, I think you'd be wasting your time if you send this one upstairs, Virat. 4, 3, 2, 1. No, he is going to go for it. He's going to go for it. I'm not sure.
Only time. It's like Alex Ferguson and his extra time.
I think that was pretty close.
While we're waiting, has Chalal had a haircut? So last time I saw him, he had a man bun. Has he got rid of that?
I think he has found a barber's.
A barber that's open somewhere,
yeah. So Stoinis he's come a long way down. Well, maybe I was dismissing it too quickly. Stoinis he's come a long way down. It's one of those that, would never be given without DRS, this.
No.
He's so far down the pitch. He's definitely not hit the bat. The bat was hidden behind the pad. And, this might be closer than I thought it was initially, to be honest. Perhaps Virat's lengthy decision review. Impact is umpire's call because he's over 3 metres down.
He's out.
No, the impact. The impact umpire's call because he's so far down
3 metres.
But it was going on to hit the stump.
Sake.
So RCB keep their review, but they don't get the wicket.
If I'd lost a wicket like that in a club match, I'd be fuming with the umpire. So I was playing a shot.
Yeah.
Look how far down.
Yeah. Well, there've been a couple of close shaves. Ricky Ponting looks pretty annoyed about something. As Chahal comes in to bowl to Stoinis again, he plays this one back down the ground. There's a misfield by the bowler, and that will allow them to get through for a single.
Did you read that tweet earlier about the Australian players who want to go back home but they can't, and now they can't go back in the bubble, so they're stuck in a hotel?
Yeah, I think we did. That was mentioned earlier.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're gone. They go, we can't. No, you can't come back. Yeah, you've got to see. Apparently, an unsupervised hotel.
Probably the last place you'd want to be at the moment.
Yeah.
But it does highlight how strict the bubble protocols are, and probably why the tournament is carrying on.
Yeah.
As Chahal is going to complete the 9th over, and he bowls a rank short delivery, which Pant doesn't get hold of at all, played into the offside. A very eventful first over from Chahal there. An awful lot went on. They only scored 3 runs, and we are going to get a Woodstock timeout at 53 for 3 after 9 overs. The Delhi Capitals are chasing 172 to move to the top of the IPL standings.
Well, Ravi Nair has tweeted in how about a not actively nasty 11? Gavaskar, Cook, Dravid, Tendulkar, Lara, Gilchrist, Flintoff, Warren, Cummings, Murali and Holding.
I was about to say, when he said not actively nasty, Gilchrist was the first one that came to my head.
Jersey Oak says, I like the new Gary jingle, but he's never on for it to be played. He's on sometimes, but he hasn't been on a lot during the IPL at all. He does work, and he is writing for The Guardian as well at the moment. I'm not saying that isn't work, but he has got another sort of writing for the Guardian, and he writes about county cricket, not about politics or film or theatre or music.
There's been some very good county cricket for him to write on. There's been some excellent matches in the early goings of this season.
Yeah, I'm not a massive follower of county cricket. I'm like the bear a bit, but I have seen the little I've seen has been quite entertaining.
Yeah, I ended up watching Northamptonshire chase 350 on the last day on Sunday. So that was.
It's good they put it all on YouTube, haven't they?
Yeah, well, that's the thing this season, and obviously the hand was forced last season to all the counties have sort of really improved that streaming side of things, and I think it will be something that will continue even when people can go back.
Is it still just the one camera for everything?
Depends on who the home team is. Some counties have now expanded it. I was watching Surrey the other day. Leicestershire were at Surrey, and it was almost like full-on coverage from the Oval. You know, they had cameras all around the ground.
Would somewhere like the Oval already have the equipment there, I guess, the infrastructure at least?
Quite possibly. Yeah. When Leicestershire play at home, it is just the camera at either end. And a
bloke with an iPhone.
Pretty much, yeah. But that's because Leicestershire have got about 50p in the bank to put that sort of thing together. So
it's better than now. It's still good.
Completely, absolutely. And they put sort of like the local radio commentary. They all sync it up. So, so yes, it's Go on, Chris.
Carry on. Sorry.
No, go on.
I was going to say my issue with the county games. I just don't have a team as such to support. You know, I like Glamorgan, obviously as a Welshman. I grew up around the Forest of Dean, so Gloucestershire, and Somerset to Gloucestershire, and Somerset to a certain extent. But I just don't have a team I follow, and I think unless I'll break off. Was that highlights merely?
No. This is the start of the 10th over. Washington played it down the ground for a single, 54 for 3.
It's a bit like being a football fan, I suppose. I know some people who like football don't support a team particularly, but just sort of watch whatever's on. It's a different thing. I mean, football, it's sort of from a very young age onwards, isn't it?
Off this ball.
Washington round the wicket. Pant just comes down the ground this time, and it trickles away into the leg side. They're going to come back for 2 good running, and the throw was a bit wayward there, and Pant moves to 16.
They are a bit stuck. I know it is the boring middle overs, but they are a bit stuck at the moment, aren't they?
They are.
And I know while Pant's there, anything could happen very quickly. We saw how AB de Villiers turned it round. One over can make all the difference in this format.
But Pant might be in trouble here. This one's gone high in the air, but it's going to fall safe. There was 3 of them converging. One of them was Coley, and the ball managed to drop between all 3, and Pant picks up a couple of runs. And I think you're right, Chris. It was just getting to a stage where they needed to hit a boundary. The required run rate's getting up towards 11 now, and he did not time that one at all. It's just fallen out of Coley's reach. 58 for 3 then in the 10th over. As Washington bowls round the wicket, Pant comes down the pitch, and they'll get 1. They'll try for 2, I think, here again, and once again it's decent running from these 2. Pant is very good between the wickets, and that takes him to 20. So we've had 3 twos and a single off this over from Washington so far.
Well, Brian Barish tells us that he's been following the cricket, county cricket from America, and there's quite a lot of almost every team has multiple cameras, but they're actually being controlled by humans instead of being fixed on the pitch. It's actually a joy to watch.
That's good. That's good. I know. Certainly, when we had the T20 behind closed doors last year, a lot of counties did up their game in that respect. As Pant plays the next delivery down the ground, and they will get a single.
Confirmed by Diane Patterson, and also says that it's read somewhere the money for it came from the 100.
Really?
In anticipation, presumably.
Yes. Well, there is a windfall that is going to all the counties, which was, I think they, almost to sort of shut them up and vote money through. Yeah.
I like the fact there's a windfall without even a run being played in the tournament.
Yeah, well, that is true. Washington bowls to Stoinis, cut away, and they'll take a single to the man swooping on the backward point boundary. That's the end of the over, so we're halfway in this Delhi run chase, 62 for 3. So that means they need 110 from the last 60 balls, which is quite handy because it means it's exactly 11 and over for the required rate. I don't have to do any complicated maths.
Well done. Farong asks, how about a team of twats from the commentary box? Well, dear, that could be a bloody long list.
well, I think we've already named a few.
Yeah, exactly. Controversially, due to us, Aggers will be in there. He's not a fan of guerrilla cricket. I
started listening to guerrilla cricket because of Graham Swan, actually.
Oh God! I want to be on the telly. Let me on the telly.
I wonder if we had a chance to keep him in India. I hope the government took that opportunity as Stoinis paddle sweeps this first delivery from Chahal down to the fine leg boundary, and that's 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's a funny thing about commentary. Some people just don't have an opinion and they stick with what they've always done, which is listen to TMS, and they don't veer. They wouldn't come to us for reasons, for that reason. They always know it's Test Match Special, and they don't really have a kind of critique of it almost. Some people.
Well, I think when Blowers retired, it was a big hole. There's a big hole there, and it's never really been filled. And
I know people who hate him.
yeah, it's an institution, TMS, though, isn't it? That's the thing, and then to challenge institutions always takes a little bit of psychological bravery, a leap of faith.
That was a ball there, wasn't it?
Yes, Stoinis has just played it. Stoinis has just played it away. I was listening to the rant about, well, not rant, the fact that we're smashing the institution. So Stoinis picked up a single, and then Pant has just played the next one into the leg side, and there's no run. Chahal is getting through this over particularly quickly after a lot happened in his first over. That one is cut by Pant. They'll get 1 out to the man on the point boundary. So Pant goes to 22.
I think if you really like that quintessential BBC English thing about commentary, the best thing to listen to is the county cricket stuff on Radio 5.
Yeah.
That really is kind of very old schoolish kind of BBC stuff, I think. It's very good, a lot of it.
I remember listening to the snooker on the Radio 1.
Snooker on the radio. Stoinis plays his way to the man fielding just in close, and there's no run.
Well, the tennis used to be hilarious because I used to do, I haven't listened to it for years, but every shot, can you imagine how quick that was?
No, it's still like that for tennis on the radio. Stoinis comes down the ground to the last ball of Chahal's over. They take a single. It's 69 for 3 at the end of 11 overs, and the RCB spinners are putting the strangle on the Capitals batting here.
And again, you are talking to a guy who once watched 2 hours of a Formula 1 Grand Prix on CFAX. Yes, it's true. It was really exciting. The stupid thing was, it was live on the telly. me and my mate Mick were so stoned off our tits that we just got into watching the CFAX thing go click, click like this every sort of lap. We didn't bother to turn it over. Brian Barrish says, a shame about Aggers, actually like his style and his cadence, and he and Blowers were amongst the first cricket callers that I liked pre-Guerrilla Cricket, along with Harsher and the late Drew Morfitt. Or Morpitt. I don't know if I come across that person.
New over from Washington. He's going to bowl round the wicket to Stoinis, who cuts him away. They'll take a single. Jameson does the fielding. And Stoinis moves to 13 and a run a ball. The last 5 overs have been 25 for 1, and it certainly has felt like the squeeze has been on the Delhi Capitals here.
Has Jameson had an over yet?
Yes, he bowled. I think he bowled a couple in the power play. Let me just check. Let me just check. Yes, 2 overs, 1 for 6. Yes, he did bowl. He did bowl tidily, and he got the wicket of Dhawan. Although that was caught on the boundary as Pant takes a sharply taken single, just almost tip and run there into the leg side. Yeah, we were discussing earlier. He's having a good tournament. Is Jameson? I don't know this, but I'm assuming he is a failed rugby player. Just looking at his build, it looks like he should be in a second row somewhere.
I mean, he's incredibly big, but he's athletic, isn't he? He looks really strong.
He's almost too athletic to be a rugby forward.
He's one of those players that before this IPL I wasn't really aware of.
It's got a funny habit, this tournament, of throwing players up like that. Stoinis smashes this down the ground, and that it is going to crash into the boundary boards for 4 runs.
It's me, Sanshi.
A really authoritative shot from Stoinis.
I think in his domestic T20 league he got 6 for 7. I was reading.
Yes, he did. He did. Yes, because we were getting a bit worried. As a Leicestershire supporter, and we were getting a bit worried that Colin Ackerman's 7-fer that he took in the blast a couple of years ago was going to be under threat, but luckily he only got 6. So Colin is still out there on his own with his 7-fer. As Stoinis turns this away into the leg side. They might get 2 here, but they decide against the second run because Sams was quicking off the boundary and does the fielding.
I first came across him because I watched New Zealand play the Test matches against the West Indies.
Yes, I saw a bit of that series,
Yeah. When you first saw crowds back at a sporting event, and it was really weird.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the Tottenham game on Sunday, and it was a bit strange, I must admit. As Pant comes down the ground, they'll take a single, and he goes to 24.
But their failure to win another trophy wasn't so strange.
No. The game went just about as everybody predicted, apart from the fact it took Manchester City 80 minutes to score.
It's 4 on the trot for Manchester City, isn't it? I think Swansea City got it before that. But yeah, 4 on the trot.
There is 1 to come in the 12th over here. At the same stage, RCB were 87 for 3. So they're not a million miles behind as Stoinis bumps this one down the ground. He nearly takes Pant out with him. Pant had to sprawl out the way. The batsmen are having a laugh about it. But it's down the ground. Second boundary of the over for Stoinis. And a better over that for the Capitals.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary.
Well, Brian Barrish loves the BBC county commentaries, especially since it's set up that you can whip around the different games over the course of the match days and pop into games that are more exciting than the ones you're listening to. Mark Zip says, I think the attachment to TMS probably comes from nostalgia as much from inertia. Speaking as an old radio pro, it's also a very particular vibe in terms of pacing and atmosphere. Yeah, I agree. And Messi just says that tennis on the radio commentary is fucking amazing. Very rare though. Good commentary. Yeah, it is rare.
I remember, I think TalkSport did darts on the radio one Christmas for the tournament at the Alexandra Palace. Which, I'm not sure how that went. As that was chipped by Pant, and he's just cleared the man on the fine leg boundary there, who was washing the sun. He was a couple of steps in, and it's gone over his head, and it's one bounce for 4 to begin the 13th over.
My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
I've obviously confused someone who's probably a bit young. Annie's Rao says, "You watch Formula One on a what?" Please explain. It was used to be a text news service on the television. It's the best way to describe it. So it used to come up on your screen as text, and they used to do live Formula One. So each lap would have a different car. Don't ask.
It was like a precursor to the internet, wasn't it?
Pant cuts this one away, and that's going to be another boundary. It's gone into the... I think they've decided now is the time to go for Richard Pant, because there was 2 boundaries from Stoinis in the previous over, and the 13th has started with successive boundaries as well.
Put on the gas time.
As we're speaking about Formula One, definitely.
Well, CFAX and Teletext, they're both kind of in the 80s, the height of technology.
I remember. I'm old enough, stroke young enough to remember the CFAX ending, it being a big deal, as that's a wide from Harshall, one of those harsh one-day wides in down the leg side. And having bowled a really good first over, this is it's 9 from 2 legal deliveries so far in this one. If he's struggling with the sort of round the wicket line, it might be better coming over the wicket to Pant, but he's persevering round again down the leg side. That is more of a wide than the first one, and it's signalled as such. Well, you spoke, Chris, a couple of overs ago about a game-changing big over, and this has certainly started like it could be one for Delhi here.
Absolutely, and as a neutral, I'm really rooting for Delhi at this stage, because if Pant can stay in and Stoinis can stay in,
he's driven this one.
To come.
He's driven this one away on the offside, didn't get all of it though, and it's just going to trickle to the man on the boundary for a single.
If they can stick around for a few overs, it's going to be exciting.
Yes, I mean this is building up to being a decent finish. I think. I still think I'd rather be in RCB shoes at the moment. But as you say, if Pant stays there, that could change quickly.
I think, if the targets get much beyond 180, or certainly 200 in this format, games can tend to fizzle out.
As Harshall charges in, bowls to Stoinis, who is caught behind. That is a terrific delivery from Harshall, having been a bit all over the place to Richard Pant. He's come back to the right-handed Stoinis and bowled an absolute beauty. It was quite similar to the one that Siraj got Steve Smith with earlier, and just when they needed it, RCB have broken this partnership. So Stoinis is out for 22 off 17 balls. It's 92 for 4 in the 13th over.
Yeah, well, he's going for it. He had to.
Yeah.
And this is what can happen. That's T20.
It certainly is. The new batsman is Hetmeyer. Here's another person who can take a game away from an opposition.
What was that? That sounds like an Israeli what?
President.
Okay.
Two left-handers at the crease now for the Capitals, who require 80 to win from 44 balls.
Struggles to think of too many Guyanese cricketers. Heckmar, Chandler Paul, of course.
Yes,
Logie, maybe.
Heckmar's first ball wide of the crease comes Harshall, and it's just driven by Heckmar, tumbling stop in the covers, and there's no run.
Has he had a decent IPL so far, Heckmar? Don't think he has he?
Let me have a look at his scores.
In my head, I'm not statting, but in my head, I just keep seeing him walking off for disappointing scores.
No, he's had 3 games so far: 0, 14, and 1.
There you go.
And this, I thought that might have been another 0 for him there, because it spooned off his bat, but there wasn't. The third man fielder was out on the boundary rather than on the edge of the circle, and he's able to get a single to get himself off the mark. That's the end of the over. It's 93 for 4 after 13. We got any more tweets, or are we up to date on that?
Oh yeah, and then our very own Aninda Dutta says, I know there are 2 Steve Smith's handles on Twitter. I'm a bit confused which one of them is at the IPL this year. Going on from there. Yeah. Warren says, for those listening on the radio, the pink is behind the brown. Leia says, I knew about Jameson before this IPL. Took a fifer in his second test in the series against India. Ravinier says, can we call them doomed Capitals yet, playing the rich chuffing bastards? Brian Barish says he's been to 2 Philadelphia Union MLS games this season with 6,000 or so fans. They take everyone's temperature, have the food and drink stalls open, and enforce one-way traffic on the concourses and ramps, as well as mask wearing.
New over from Washington, and Heckmar goes back, and there's no run. Yes, well, I booked my first rugby tickets yesterday to go back in June, first weekend in June, and I've been sent an almighty list that I've not read through yet of things that you can and can't do, and what you've got to do before you can go. As Heckmar turns it away into the leg side, and they just get a single.
Well, I'm going into London tomorrow for the first time in over a year. And I'm quite excited about it.
Yes,
the pub's open there yet? They are,
yes.
aren't they?
Yeah, I think outside. I'm not going for that. I'm just going to go up there, wander around for a couple of hours and come back. I'm just going to have a look.
Yes, I'm going into the office in a couple of weeks for the first time since everything ground to a halt, as Pant turns this away into the leg side, and they take 1. Pant goes to 34s. So yes, I don't think I've been into central London since last March. I remember I was on one of sort of, it felt like the last train out before we went into lockdown. It was so
called the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
I like that Shimon Heckmar's taking his helmet off to face spinners, showing his fine mop of bleached blonde hair.
Yeah.
And he looks up for this, doesn't he? He's not happy with his score so far. He's got the bit between his teeth.
He's driven this next one from Washington down the ground, and they take a single. And Heckmar will go to 3.
What do we think of that hairdo? I mean, it looks like one of those cakes that has those kind of like cream things on. You know, those little sort of curly bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
It's a bit Flash Gordon, isn't it?
It is. It's an interesting look, as that's a good delivery from Washington. Squared up Pant, who came down the pitch. I think he took a bit of pace off that one, and there is no run.
Not that I'm going to criticise anyone's hair at all, seeing as I have very little these days.
I've got my first haircut tomorrow since just before Christmas.
I'm going to post a picture of myself from when I was 11 or 12 on Twitter.
and plays the last delivery of Washington's over into the leg side for a single. It's 97 for 4 after 14. I believe that is the end of me.
Well, I hope not.
Well, yes, so do I. So do I. It'd be a nasty way to finish.
So there could be worse ways to go, live on air.
Very true. 75 to win then from 6, and Hendo's going to take you home ball by ball.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks to Chris as well, who's made his debut. And I think he made a very good debut today.
I think he did. Well done, Chris. Thanks for coming along.
Agree with that? Yeah, very good indeed.
Very kind. Thank you, fellas. Take care.
Enjoy.
See you later.
Enjoy being only 2 miles from the coast. Yeah, exactly. Delhi are 97 for 4. They need another 75 to win from 36 balls. If anyone can do it, you would have to say Rishabh Pant is your man. However, he's now lost Marcus Stoinis, another big hitter, and whether he can do it all on its own,
well,
remains to be seen.
Well, I think if Hetmeyer goes, that's it, isn't it? I mean, Axar Patel.
Yeah, decent batsman, but not a really big hitter.
No, and who's Nishant Sharma, Amit Mishra, and Avesh Khan. So yeah, you'd think that this is their last chance. And
Rabada can hit the ball a little bit, can't he? But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, these two have got to stay together for another 3 overs, I would say, at least, get them to 120, 130.
Well, this is. I don't think you want Rabada chasing more than about 25. Enough time to do it as well, which is probably not going to happen.
It's going to be very difficult. It's over 2 runs a ball, and it's going to be Siraj continuing. He's absolutely thrashed by Punt, but doesn't actually get much timing into the shot. It flies through the air towards extra cover, deep extra cover, and they take a single. Reminder, tomorrow's game is Chennai, who are sitting pretty at the top until this game is over. They could go back to the top by beating the Sunrisers, who are marooned at the bottom at the moment. Not been a good start for them at all. But we shall see who's going to take over at the top tonight. Is it going to be RCB? Is it going to be the Delhi Capitals? Delhi in second place on net run rate at the moment, but that will count for little if RCB take the 2 points here.
So they're going to let Dhoni have it in his last...
see him off.
His last outing. See him off with a win.
Yeah. Hetmeyer then to face 2 left-handers out there for Delhi, and Siraj will continue into his 3rd over now. He bowls and he smears this high, but I'm not sure he's got enough on it. Yes, he has. He's got enough on it. It's just over the man at long on. Don't think he timed it perfectly, but put plenty of beef behind it, and it's brought him 6 runs. I do wonder actually what Shimron Hetmeyer is thinking about being out there in India at the moment. He was one of the West Indians who pulled out of the England tour, didn't he? Opted not to come last summer because of the fear of COVID. Now he finds himself in a very, similar or even worse position, I suppose, a worse position now. Not able to get out of it very easily. Oh, he smashed that. He's absolutely got hold of that one. A slower ball from Siraj, as the bearer was saying earlier. It sits up sometimes on this pitch, and he's absolutely hammered that at 3 mid-wicket and brought himself 4 more runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I think he mullered that.
Mullered?
That's a muller.
Do you think he moosed it?
Moosed it?
I think it was wildebeested, personally. I am going to write a report soon in which all those words will get used. I will use no other words apart from animals to describe strokes.
Well, you've got capybara now.
He's capybara that. He's capybara that, like a capybara sitting in a bathtub drinking water. Siraj right up in the block hole, but tickled away through square leg by Hetmeyer will pick up another single, so 11 runs from this over. They need every one of those. 109 for 4, 63 now off 32 balls. It has brought it down just marginally below 2 runs a ball.
The first time I came across the capybara was a little clip on Twitter of a capybara in a bath in a house, and there were little ducklings in the bath with him, and then he just farted, and he turned around and looked at the camera as if to say, "Yeah."
Well, that's what you want to perform a capybara.
Classic film.
Siraj bowls to Pant, who scoops this really up towards long off and takes the single. 1 ball remaining. 110 for 4. Of course, it was AB de Villiers who got RCB up to this total of 172, 75 off 42 balls. If you look at his record in the IPL, there must be, I don't know, 5 or 6 innings where he's got 75 off about 35 plus balls. Astonishing record, really. And he settles down, waits for Siraj again, trying to put it up in the block hole. It ends up being a very low full toss, flicked away to deep mid wicket by Hetmeyer. He'll take another single. So that is what, 13 runs off the over. That's just about what they need, but they've got to keep it going.
Farong says, compared to the game last night with plenty of dew, the sand has definitely assisted RCB. There's a lot of people talking about CFAX after I mentioned it. Diana Patterson says CFAX is not that much different from someone live tweeting an event. Jersey Oak, yeah, remember the cheap holiday pages on CFAX?
Yeah.
Yes. Messi Jez says, where is it gone? Oh, the joys of CFAX, watching the page numbers scroll through and not updating the page that you want, only to end up with the R's ending up losing at the final whistle. And I sent in that ridiculous picture of me with my hair when I was about 11.
Okay. Talking of CFAX, I used to work with Teletext, which was the rival to CFAX.
Which was on
the early 90s.
Which?
That was, CFAX was on the BBC.
Okay.
And on ITV was Teletext. And we did the news and sport pages and business and all those sort of things for a while. And it wasn't a lot of fun. It wasn't a lot of fun at all, really, I have to say. It was journalism. It really was. Although it does sharpen the skills, cutting everything down to 3 paragraphs. Anyway, Kyle Jamieson is coming back into the attack, opened the bowling earlier.
Shall I give him a jingle?
Yeah.
And that's the story of how Kyle Jamieson
gone up in the air. It's gone way up in the air. Is someone underneath it? I suspect that. He's been dropped by the man coming in from long on, who I think is Mohammad Siraj. It was a full toss. It went very high as Pant really didn't get hold of it properly. And how costly is that going to be? Siraj has had a great introduction to the higher echelons of the game, but that will be one blot on his copybook.
It's Dev, whoever Dev is.
Oh, it's not Dev, is it? It's not Siraj. I thought it was Siraj. It's Padikal then.
That's
not good. Smashed to extra cover, straight to extra cover. Another full toss, but this time he gets it nowhere really. And Jameson survives. 60 required off 28.
I've got Hetmeyer under 18.5 runs, and fucking Padikal's just dropped the catch.
Yeah. Well, he ran past it, didn't he? He ran past it a little bit, and strangely enough, quite a muted response from Kohli. Was muttering under his breath more than anything.
You fucking stupid prat, he just said.
Something along those lines. Jameson in again, full ball, dug out by Pant towards extra cover. They will run through for the single. 113 for 4. Well, it may have been a drop, but it hasn't. At the moment, it's not costing them too much. Just 3 runs off the first 3 balls of the over, and there we are.
We're getting lots of shots of emotion.
Yeah, not Ravi. Kohli getting excited about various elements of the game. Right up in the block hole again, tucked away to backward square leg. Kind of lost what happened there. But Washington Sundar seems to be involved, and the ball has found its way back in. It's just a single.
Well, it went quickly to him.
He clipped it off his legs.
I don't think they got the single. It's Hetmeyer.
It's a brilliant piece of fielding. It really is. I think they did come through for the single. They did. So Pant was backing up. But as again, either side of the player there on the square leg position, and it would have been away for 4. 114 for 4. Jameson into Rishabh Pant again. 5 men outside the circle, of course. In he is, comes over the wicket. It's a full toss. All he can do is drive it to long off. So just another single. 4 runs off this over. In fact, obviously that drop catch only conceded 1 run. I thought they'd got back for a second. 1 ball remaining in the 16th over. It's looking trickier and trickier for Delhi. They need 2 or 3 big shots, and Jameson's giving nothing away at the moment. They've got a man on the 45 and at backward square leg, so 2 men behind square on the onside. He's in again. Perfect over, really, right up in the block hole once more, and all the batsman can do is drive it up to long off. So 5 runs from the over. Brilliant work from him. It's going to be a strategic timeout in which we say, if you want cricket equipment and you need it quickly, go to our website, gorillacricket.com. You will see a banner ad for Woodstock, who have wonderful bats and gloves and pads and whites and all sorts of things that you will need if you're preparing for the season in the Northern Hemisphere.
Absolutely. And you get 15% off. GC Radio is the code.
Indeed, and click on the other banner ads, because then we get money.
Do that.
I knew Leia would not let me down. She's actually posted the clip for you all to look at of the capybara farting in the bath, and it is like the internet at its best. It is brilliant.
Okay,
yeah, we're up to date at the moment. Yeah, if you want to see a capybara farting, just go on to...
I'm going to have a look at it right now, in fact.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking at it.
It's just such a lovely face on it.
Thinking, well, yes, 4 ducklings in the corner, just happy. Oh my word, it's horrendous. Yes, bubbles everywhere. Shocking. But you just can't,
the look on his face when he does it.
You just can't take capybaras anywhere, can you?
That's hilarious. I like that.
The question is about that film. So you've got a capybara in the bath, and you've got 4 ducklings in the bath. What is going on?
That's his pet capybara.
Good point.
Capybaras are South American, aren't they? So somewhere in South America.
Yep.
Yeah, but what
is going Argentinian? On? Is it Argentina they come from?
I think I want one though.
Yeah. Well, in fact, I mean, you have plenty of forest to play in, wouldn't he? Near you.
They're very docile from what I've seen on YouTube.
Yeah, but you're talking about the ones that aren't urbanised. I mean, once you get him into deepest Essex, I mean, anything could happen to him.
Yeah, well,
he changes character.
Once anyone comes to deepest Essex, anything can happen.
That's very true, I suppose. Very true indeed. Well, Delhi have got 4 overs, and they've got 2 very attacking batsmen at the crease, but they're struggling a little bit to find the big shot, and they do need a couple of big shots per over, don't they?
Yeah.
To get home here. RCB would be, well, as I said, important win for them if they can get over the line, because they didn't want to develop a habit of losing. They lost their last game quite heavily, and it'll be considered a good comeback to have picked up the 2 points here, I would say.
Perkins has got a marketing idea for us which is not going to fly. Maybe you need to post videos of gorillas farting in the bath to attract due attention.
I could manage.
We're not going to do that.
I could manage quite a lot of those.
I don't think that'd be a massive call for that.
It would get a lot of views from our listeners.
Who may never listen again, having seen that, of course. You'd have to bear that.
I don't know.
They are a strange lot.
They're a strange lot, I know.
Yeah.
Very true.
The internet is a strange place. Oh, look. Who's that?
Is that Mike Hazeman? Is it Hazeman? The commentator?
Yeah, right. The silver-haired fox.
The very silver-haired, and I don't know who he is. Harshal Patel, 2 overs, 2 for 16. Pretty much everything he touches turns to gold, apart from that last over against Jadeja. He's in, bowls, and this is flicked up to long on. It's again one of a series of singles for Hetmeyer. They do need a big shot, but unfortunately, I have to say, from their point of view, the RCBs are bowling very well at the moment.
They are.
They need 55 now off 23.
And they lost 20 off that last over as well. That last over cost how many? 21 runs or something of theirs?
Oh, 23, the Steiners over.
Yeah,
that's a crucial one, isn't it, as well? Anyway, it brings Pant down to face. What can he do? As Harshal Patel is in, right arm over the wicket. He's down the wicket. He smashes it to extra cover. Picks out extra cover. He'll be very annoyed. He would probably have got 4 runs, a yard either side. But he's hit it straight to him. And there is no run. Of course, you can get a t-shirt saying there is no run from our merchandise store. GorillaCricket.com. Just have a look on the right-hand side. You'll see links to the to Redbubble, where you can get all our merchandise, which is t-shirts and cups, and
magnets, bedspreads, shower curtains, anything you want.
Full again, dugout, squarish on the offside, just behind square, in fact, by Pant. He examines the bottom of his bat, and that shows how well Harshal Patel and, of course, Carl Jameson in that previous overs are bowling at the moment. 118 for 4. They're just not getting a loose ball at all at the moment.
No, it's very good bowling. Everything's been in a block hole, pretty well executed. No low full tosses.
No, and that is the risk, isn't it, that you end up with. I mean, low full tosses aren't necessarily too bad if you get them very low on the bat. It's the high full toss you've got to watch out for. This is flicked away neatly, very neatly indeed. It brings the man around from deep mid-wicket. This time Hetmeyer breaks that run of singles. He picks up 2, goes to 19 from 13. Pant has 40 from 39, 120 for 4. 2 balls remaining in the 17th over, 52 required off 20 deliveries. 2 balls to go in this over. Hetmeyer's now got on to 21, I beg your pardon, from 14. But he needs a big hit. Harshal Patel in, he's got a wide full toss, and he's absolutely hammered that over the top of extra cover. And that is what they were looking for. A loose one. He didn't get it right, Patel. Away for 4.
I'm just looking at who's got to bowl. So Daniel Sams has got 2 left, hasn't he? Jameson's only got 1. And then Harshal Patel's got 1. That's 4 overs left, and that's what's left after this over, I believe.
No, 3
overs left after this, so they've got plenty to work around with. Shall's only bowled 2.
Yeah, they don't really like bowling spinners right at the death, do they?
No.
I'm not sure why, actually, because I'm sure they would have, some of them would perform better than Stoinis did in that last RCB over.
It's difficult to perform much worse.
Telling again, it's another full toss, and it's hit into the leg side this time. Again, that man's sweeping round, but he misfielded out there. I think that is Daniel Sams, and that should allow them to get back for 2. And they do. Hetmeyer goes to 27. That's the end of the over. 126 for 4. 46 required off the last 3 overs.
Do you want a list of people on Crick Tracker who are sending us a heart?
Yes.
A very poorly read out list. Poonam Sonawan, Jainarian J, Salim Khan, Aslam Khan, Jamil Telly, Avtar Singh, Rikesh Singh, Chokram Israra, Milram Panwar Damaz, Sabu Haraj, Laxman Melinda, Kumar Mitti, Sahil Sagar, Hanumath H, Rapod Dinesh Kumar, and Hariam, all giving us hearts on Crick Tracker.
We salute
nice
you.
Indeed.
I hope you're all well and
keep
staying
safe. Keep safe.
Message Ed says this is turning into very much a bear match, as in 2020.
Well, if they can get...
Oh, now what's happened here? This is extraordinary. Are they going to actually end up getting a run here? They are. Jameson bowls. Pant went outside his off stump. He bowled him a low full toss. He tried to ramp it around the corner. Did so, but fell over as he did it. Managed to roll, get up, and still run a single, which is quite remarkable in its way.
Drop and roll.
45 off 17, so it's not enough though, is it? 1 run?
Nope. They need to, as you say, they need some big hits. They need an over
a really
20.
big over. They need a 20, and they need an over of sort of 18 to 20.
Yeah, but definitely.
Else, I think.
Can't see it coming at the moment.
No, they're bowling very well. Jameson in again. Oh, smashed! Absolutely got hold of that. That was a high full toss. And that has been put miles into the empty, cavernous stands of the Modi Dome by Hetmeyer, who goes to 33 with only the second 6 of the innings.
Second or third, I think.
And it does show you how difficult it is to keep bowling those balls in the block hole.
Yeah.
You can get 3 out of 4 right, but it's very difficult to get 4 out of 4 right. And he got that one horribly wrong. And he took it from outside off stump and smeared it over mid-wicket. This one he misses. Much better ball, right up, went under his bat as he tried to give himself room. And having hit the 6, he then misses out completely. 133 for 4. Halfway through the 18th over. It's looking like an RCB win, but you can never tell in T20 cricket. Remarkable things have happened the last couple of overs.
Yeah, it's true.
Capybaras are very docile, would make good pets, says Leia, if not for the fact the ticks that plague them can transmit Rocky Mountain spotted fever.
Oh, you don't want that.
No, it doesn't.
Not Rocky Mountain spotted fever.
Oh, dear.
Smashed by Hetmar. He's really picked that one up off middle stump, and he has creamed it into the stands. Wonderful shot. Second 6 of the over. Is this the over? Well, it's much more gettable now. 33 off 14. 2 really good pickups by Shimron Hetmar. When he hits the ball, as they say, or used to say, it stays hit.
Yeah.
And that was a wonderful shot. Here comes Jamieson. Will that have just shaken his confidence a little bit? He runs up, bowls again outside the off stump. He's got that low on the bat. It's come off his instep, and he's chased after it. They might be able to get back for a second here. His poor old Jamieson has run all the way to the edge of the circle, somewhere between mid-on and mid-wicket, and Hetmar has got back for a couple. He's now joined Rishabh Pant on 41, but he's done it in half the balls. He's done it in 20 balls as opposed to Rishabh Pant's 40 balls. This over is now ball as 15. I said 18. If they can get a 4 off this ball, then they're right back in the game. They do have wickets in hand, but they don't have many hitters to come. What can Jamieson do here? 141 for 4. Target is 172. He pounds in. Oh, smack straight by Hetmar again. Wonderful shot. Wonderful pickup. He is going to win this game for Delhi Capitals. Hetmar onto 47 at the end of the 18th over. The Delhi Capitals are 147 for 4, and they need another 25.
Well.
Oh, I say, chap, give me any
I do like Shimron Hetmar. I said that earlier. He's a very capable hitter.
Yep.
But he's just got to stay there till the end. These two have really got to take it over the line. You can't, in this situation, you really can't trust anyone to come in and do it. If the RCBs get a wicket now, that could be it.
Could be. And it's Hetmar doing it all, really. Pant is watching from the other end, generally speaking. So 25 required off 12 balls. Harshal Patel will bowl his final over. He'll have bad memories of his last 4th over in one of these games when he was absolutely sent to all parts by Ravi Jadeja. He's running in now to bowl to Rishabh Pant. It's right up there, but it's a full toss. Flicks it to square leg. Could be in trouble here. Got to run to the far end. The throw comes in. Harshal Patel was in front of the stumps. The thrower, who I think might have been Panikkal, was saying, why didn't you get out of the way of that? That was going to hit the stumps. I'm not sure that it was, but it means that just 1 run results from that. Although it's strange to say that RCBs might be happier with Pant on strike rather than Hetmar at the moment. Pant has gone to 42, Hetmar 47, 24 required off 11 balls. And what is Patel going to do here? He's just having a chat with his captain, who was going down to long off, I think. Controlling things from there. And here is Patel in again, wide of the off stump. Nicely played though by Hetmar. It's only going to bring him a single. They're going to run back with a second. I think they're going to be okay. And they do get the second. 150 for 4. 150 is up. Not really thinking about applause for that because they need 22 more runs to win from 10 balls. Hetmar's now gone to 49. It's been an excellent knock from him. 49 off 22 balls. Is it just a little bit too late? We shall see over the...
Well, this is the crucial over. If they can get it down to, say, 7, 10 off the last over,
Right up in the block hole, flicked away into the onside square leg, does the fielding, just a single. 151 for 4. Good response from Harshal Patel. 50 for Hetmeyer. He raises his bat to get applause from Steve Smith and Ricky Ponting, the coach there, among that group sitting in the dugout. I think just Ricky Ponting gets very nervous, bites his nails when it gets a little bit...
he's a nail biter.
Bum. Yeah. I can identify with that. But anyway, that is a great knock from Hetmeyer. Really good from him. But is it enough? He needs to get the strike back. He's the man who's really getting hold of it. Although, that said, it's been picked up brilliantly by Punt. And despite the efforts of the man running round there, I think it's again Sam's, it drops off his body, and then as he goes over the boundary, it rolls back, and there's nothing he can do about it. It's 4 runs, 17 required from 8 balls. Punt goes It's that incredible little helicopter shot where he doesn't actually move his feet. He just sort of whips the bat through the ball with incredible amount of wrist. And Sams is annoyed with himself that he wasn't able to quite haul that one in. Hetmeyer 50, Punt 46, 17 required from 8 balls. The Bear is getting a tight one here. And Patel is in again to bowl to Punt, and Punt crunches that. Hetmeyer has to duck under it, but he's hit it straight to long off. It's only a single. He can more or less walk the single on this occasion. Kohli does the fielding. 156 for 4, 16 required off 7. A 4 or a 6 here puts it well within range.
Yeah, a 4.
Minimum there needs 2, I think, off this ball to have a chance. But, we shall see. Hetmeyer it is, facing up. What can Harshal Patel here do? Will he produce a slower one? Will it be right up in the block hole again? It's right up in the block hole again, and in fact, it's just hit back to Patel, who then palms it, and then they realise that Kohli is not going to get in quickly enough from long off, and they can scamper through for a second. That's intelligent cricket from the pair out there. Hetmeyer goes to 52. Punt has 47. 14 are required off the final over.
So who bowls it? Siraj or Sams?
Well,
I don't know. Sams is making his debut, isn't he? Winning his cap for the RCBs today. It would be a big ask from him. I think it's going to be Siraj, who's wandering towards Virat Kohli, who's shining the ball on his red tracksuit bottoms. And he's going to be entrusted with this final over.
Not a Bear match, a Bear 2020 match after all, says Mrs. Yes.
But no, I was just thinking, it's amazing how quickly these games change. I mean, when they needed 60 off about 4 overs or whatever it was, you just thought, that's it, it's done, but it never quite is.
Armchair Cricket Podcast says things you hear on Guerrilla Cricket number 422. The Bear is getting a tight one here. I thought that at the time.
Me too, I'm afraid to say. Glenn Maxwell has come in to give some advice to Virat Kohli as well. But the man who all attention is on really is Mohammad Siraj. A very pensive dugout there for the Delhi Capitals.
Of course, it could go to a super over.
Oh, it could go to a super over, couldn't it? You're absolutely.
It was was it yesterday or Sunday or something? I was watching it on Sunday.
Yep, Sunrisers.
We have one.
And that was Delhi as well. That was Delhi.
Yeah.
And they finally found their way to win it. It was a very strange super over. A couple of super overs, I should say, of course. 14 then off 6. Mohammad Siraj is running in to bowl to Rishabh Pant. It's a full toss, and he's flicked it away. But he's hit straight to deep mid-wicket. Sorry, deep square leg. Kyle Jamieson takes it on the bounce, and it's just a single. 13 required off 5. He hit it so well that it didn't need to go very far away from Jamieson to have been a boundary. But he's picked out of fielders a couple of times, Punt, tonight. When
my first thought was that's going for 6. Then I thought, that's out, and then I thought, oh no, it's only going to be 1.
That's probably what he went through as well. Hetmeyer is there. A wonderful ball swung into him. It was a really good Yorker. He's got tangled up under his or between his legs, but they have hurried through for a leg by. 160 for 4. They now need 12 off 4 deliveries. This one has got to go. really got to go. Remember, of course, that Hetmeyer hit 3 sixes in Jameson's previous over. Really good ball that from Irad, right up there. Hetmeyer was starting outside off stump to sort of free that area on the leg side, but he pinned him back with that delivery. A rather terrified looking batsman sitting there thinking, I hope I'm not needed. Please don't require me.
He looked a bit scared. That's Axar Patel, of course.
Absolutely. Here is Siraj again, this time to punt the captain. Lots of tension on that in that dugout. It's a really good ball. There's nothing you can do about that one except drive it back at Siraj. This is turning into an excellent over. We need boundaries all the way now. 12 off 3. RCB look like they've got themselves over the line. Simon Katic, their coach, is allowing himself a little bit of a nervous smile, but it's going to take all of Punt and perhaps Hetmeyer's ability to win it for them from here. He's just got a great length on him at the moment, and that's another thing you don't always hear on Guerrilla Cricket. 160 for 4.
Good girth.
Good girth. Siraj balls again to Pant. He's right up there. He's driven it into the onside. He's going to get 1. He'll get back for a second, no doubt. They will, but he now needs 10 off 2. He needs a 6 and a 4 or 2 sixes. And if Siraj keeps putting it in that particular area, there's no way he's going to do it. He's very angry with himself, Pant. Not much he could do. He's gone to 50, by the way. He doesn't actually acknowledge it. He just hits himself on the pad with his bat. That's a strange celebration if ever I saw one. 10 required off 2 balls. Great little partnership. It's not going to be enough by the looks of things. What can Siraj do now as he's into Pant? It's a full toss. He swings it away over the top of 2 men behind square on the offside. I'm not sure he knew where that was going. He's hoping that will be above waist height, will be called no ball as well. I don't think it's going to be. It's going to mean that he needs 6 off 1.
Woo, tense stuff.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, I think Pant was asking the umpires about that one, but it's not been referred higher up the hierarchy. He'd gone so far back into his crease for that one. He was trying to swing it away on the onside, and I don't know what part of the bat it hit, but it skewed away over the top of those 2 men behind square and brought in 4. This is crucial. It's 6 required. 4 is not enough. It won't even bring them a super over. Unlikely to run 5. So I think we can say the super over is dead. But 6 is required off the final delivery of the day. And if you are looking to the IPL to cheer you up in these difficult times, then this game probably would have done a decent job of it. 166 for 4. Hetmeyer 53. Panda's now just gone past him on 54.
It's going into the stands, this one.
Here we go. Siraj is in. Bowls wide outside the off stump. He's reached it. He's going to get 4, but it means that RCBs have won by the slimmest of margins. One run is enough. Hetmeyer goes down on his knees. He can't believe it. He gets a little bit of consolation from an RCB player, and Ricky Ponting looks disappointed, as does Rishabh Pant. He gets a pat on the head from his Indian captain Virat Kohli, who's also very, very happy to have picked up the 2 points. They go to the top of the IPL table. They jump above Chennai Super Kings. They put some distance between them and the Delhi Capitals. But it was quite a good match in the end. We had some interesting shenanigans at the end of the RCB innings that allowed them to get that 23 off the only over that Marcus Stoinis bowled. And then they needed 40 plus off 3 overs here, and they got within 1 run of doing it. So you've got to say, pretty good stuff. But Rishabh is inconsolable at the moment. Hetmeyer too, and the Delhi boys are very disappointed.
Yeah, and ended up being a really good game, as you say, Hendo. I was watching the odd swing, and at the beginning of the innings, RCB were massive favourites, and they remained favourites all the way up until about the 15th, 16th over, and suddenly it swung back. It was pretty evens towards the end, and I guess the bookies always get it right, because that's the tale of the match, really. As you say, it never ceases to amaze me that in these last 3 overs, the scores that can be scored.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, isn't it, really? And you just, if a bowler just loses his confidence because he's been hit for a couple of big shots, it can just completely mess with his mind. And Rishabh Pant did almost everything right there. I mean, what more could you do? You could hit a 6, but he hit 2 4s off the last 2 balls. He needed a 4 and a 6, and it wasn't quite there. But
just goes to show sometimes every run counts.
Yeah,
absolutely. You know, you can probably look back in that game and you'll find situations where ones have been turned into 2s, vice versa, and you'll think those were crucial moments that could have won you the game. That's the margins we deal with.
Hetmeyer was dropped, quite a simple catch as well, really down at long on about 15. So yeah, it's small margins. Yeah, it's good fun.
Well, it's the smallest margin you can get, really, isn't it? In a game that doesn't go to a super over, it's 1 run, and lots of consolation from the various teams to their rivals, but not sure we'd have seen that quite as generously from Kohli. Had that last one gone for 6.
I'm sure
Pant looks absolutely shattered, doesn't he? Anyway, that is it for today. That is it for Tuesday's IPL on Guerrilla Cricket. We will be back for a super smashing double header on Thursday. It's the first Thursday double header. That means we've all got to get out of bed even earlier, you included, wherever you may be in the world, to listen to a couple of games which I don't even know what they are. I haven't looked to see what they are. I know tomorrow we've got CSK against the Sunrisers, but who's playing on Thursday I couldn't tell you. I'd have to look it up. It all comes so thick and fast that it's difficult to keep track. Anyway, it's been a wonderful days or afternoons cricket from Ahmedabad. We've had Rob on. We've had a debut from Chris Paul, otherwise known as Grand Theft Auto, and it's all gone swimmingly well, wouldn't you say, chaps?
I can tell you the games. We got Delhi versus KKR. It's
right,
the first game on Thursday, and then the second game is Mumbai versus Rajasthan Royals.
Okay, I always seem to be doing Mumbai. I think I've seen Mumbai more times than anyone else in the IPL, but maybe that's just
I've seen a lot of Delhi this year. I'm going to see some more of them on Thursday.
Well, there are only 8 teams, so you have to see a lot of various teams, don't you?
It's true, and it's on every day, endlessly.
Yeah. Any final tweets, Nestlers?
Yeah, we've got a few. Jeff Perkins says, all tight on the Ursine front. And Israel says, can't help but think if this match would be any different if Hetmeyer had got more of the strike in the last 2 overs. Well, possibly. Chris Paul says, damn good game. AB was the difference. Or was it that dodgy Stoinis last over?
Dodgy Stoinis over.
And that's it. We're all done. Except for there's Armchair Cricket Podcast sent in a clip of Graham Swan in the Star Sports studio. A very strange clip, and it's on our Twitter feed if you want to have a look at that. I'll leave it at that. It's very odd. Okay. Leia says, thanks for the excellent afternoon. See you on Thursday.
Absolutely. And if you're listening to us or watching us from India, really take care of yourselves and hope things get a little bit better with vaccines and various things like that. It's a really terrible situation. But until Thursday morning, it'll be, by our reckoning, I guess it'll be about 10:50 a.m. British summertime. Convert for your region or area. And we will see you then. It should be a great day of 2 matches. Until then, it's good night from all of us.
Good night.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time has come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, and Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than red counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara.